That's horrible. I can't believe I did that. We are here. This is the third episode of Tales from the Crypto. OG Vault is here. We're waiting for Mo. We don't know what's going on. I think he's drinking some milk, but hopefully he'll be showing up soon. But we got a couple interesting topics to go over. Because we're going to do time traveling. We're going to go over the Biden veto. If Mo gets here, he might have something on games, and then we'll go over a little bit over NFT stuff, the Cryptoids news, any VV news that we want to discuss. It's good to see everyone. How are you doing, Vault? How's your day going?
Man, it's going pretty good. What's up, everybody? It's time for some tells from the crypto. We got some cool stuff to talk about. Man, I was meme coin sniping today after your live stream for the VV drop, and got rugged like twice within a minute. No. 2 Trump coins, one on Pump Fund and one on Photon. They rugged me, but it was all good. It was a decent day.
Hey, look, it happens. I always expect to get rugged. I had something where it's like, oh, you've got $300 in your account. And I looked and it said there's only $2.15 worth of liquidity. I'm like, crap. And 100% cash out. So I don't know what I did, but yes, there you go. All right. So like I said, we're waiting for Mo, but I guess let's just move along here. He may have had something pop up. Hopefully he is doing okay. Do you want me to pull up your screen? You want to kind of set things up and we'll go from there?
Yeah, y'all ready to talk about a little bit of time travel?
Hell yeah.
We had some people that were requesting the topic. It's something I find interesting too. And there's kind of been a new development, which we're going to talk about here in a second also. So I don't know. I want to find out if you guys are believers or not. Let me pitch you what I got. Share my screen whenever you're ready, BE.
All right, let me do that. There you go.
All right, so here's what we got for you. This was crudely edited. I had to do it in like an hour, but it's going to have a little bit of information in here. No sound or anything. I'll walk you through it. We're going to be talking about time travel. And the first thing we're going to talk about is some of these photos and videos you've probably seen before, probably on Joe Rogan or any kind of weird little YouTube rabbit hole you went down. And the first one is going to be the Charlie Chaplin video, which is footage of 1929. They just put this out on some kind of DVD. It was like some extras and somebody was looking through it and they find this lady walking past the little zebra statue, but it looks like she has a phone in her hand. So a lot of people are thinking maybe this lady's a time traveler and she came back to 1929 with an iPhone or something. And if you look really close at it though, you can see her lips moving. So the conventional explanation is going to be that she has one of these portable hearing aids that they used to have back then, although they weren't very common. But the crazy part is her mouth is moving. So it's like, it looks like she's talking to somebody on a cell phone. You don't see any wires or anything. And I'm going to go ahead and show you here what they looked like in 1929 hearing aids. And all these hearing aids are super bulky. And a lot of them have a lot of wires. And there's been other photos of people around that time period that looks like they're on phones too. So the question is, were there time travelers in the 1920s? And we've seen some other time travelers that are pretty famous. Like this guy's called the hippie time traveler. He looks a little out of place. Let me go back to the hippie time traveler real quick. He looks a little out of place. He has like this sweater on and this t-shirt that weren't around back then. These sunglasses that actually were around, but were very uncommon. And you look at everybody else in the picture, they're all wearing like suits and hats. It was for a bridge opening. A lot of people know that one. It's not very convincing, but there are other historical photos that are pretty convincing, like this one right here. It came out of an old book from 1917. It was in San Joseph Bay. And if you look really closely, there's a guy sitting on the hill right here. Now tell me this guy don't look out of place. This is like
he totally does.
1917, all these old sharecroppers and I don't know, people with the weird, crazy beards. And this guy wearing a t-shirt and got some shaggy hair like he's about to go surfing in the bay. So this one's pretty crazy too. This is just some of these historical photos that people have found that look like they have people out of place. And then there's the Philadelphia experiment. Somebody mentioned to me, if we're going to talk about time travel, we should probably bring up the Philadelphia experiment, which happened back in 1943 and used Einstein's theory of relativity. And if you look deep into Einstein's theories, there's only one of them that hasn't really been proven true yet. And that has to do with time travel using Einstein-Rosenberg bridges, which are just wormholes. And I think it has to do with like if you can go faster than the speed of light, then technically you can travel back in time. So back in 1943, the Navy was trying to figure out a way to cloak their ships to make them invisible. And they did this experiment called the Philadelphia experiment on the USS Bainbridge, or Eldridge actually. And somebody watching it kind of wrote a book about how he was watching the entire experiment. And what actually happened is they didn't go invisible. They time traveled like 10 seconds into the future. And when they came back, some of the soldiers were like trapped inside of the steel of the ship. Like they had kind of been, I want to say melted, but their atoms, came apart so that they could time travel. But when they came back, they were too close to the wall and they got sucked in. And there's a lot of people that say that this is a real event. You can look up the records, the time, of when it happened. And it did happen like around that time. They did have this type of experiment for invisibility. And the USS Eldridge was in the port at that time. So maybe it was real. But this one's a little more convincing. This is Rudolph Fentz. In 1951, this dude popped up out of nowhere in the middle of New York, right? And then he immediately got hit by a car. And when they looked at this guy, what's up, MoKnowz? We're talking a little time travel.
What's up, gentlemen? My bad. Late to my own fucking funeral, apparently.
All good. We're talking.
I don't know why it's 6 p.m. We talk about this all week, and I'm like, yeah, my fucking alarm just, for whatever reason, was set for 6. My bad.
Well, you haven't missed. We just did intros and all that good stuff. We're talking a little bit about time travel. We showed that lady. I don't know if you're familiar with her. I'm assuming you are. The one from the Charlie Chaplin video in 1929. It looks like she's talking on a phone. And now we're talking about. Yeah. I figured you knew about that one. Now we're talking about Rudolph Fentz. This is a dude that popped up in 1951 in the middle of New York, and then he got hit by a car. And the thing is, he was wearing all his clothes from the 1800s. He had a letter in his pocket that was dated 1876. And I think he had like some dollar bills from back then and all that stuff. So they try to look up this guy's information. They have his ID. They try to find out where's this guy from. And he's not anywhere around there in 1951. But they go back to 1876 and they can find that exact person, his name, Rudolph Fentz. And he went missing in 1876. So this guy just popped up in the middle of New York in 1951. Apparently, he didn't know anything about cars because he didn't know to get out of the way. And he had all this information pointing to him being around in the 1800s. And when you go back and look in the history books, he actually did exist in 1876. Now, some people will say that this is a story that comes from some book. So it had people skeptical. So they went and researched even more. And you can actually go back and find the newspaper articles, which will pop up here in a second, showing that this actually did happen. There was a detective that was assigned to the case. Yeah, it's in the Union City News. You can't read it very well, but it does exist. There was a detective that was assigned to the case, and he determined that this was the guy from 1876. So that brings
Captain Hubert V. Rim or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he knows too. And so that brings us to the most recent event that seems like time travel. This guy, he put out a TikTok video showing his Ring camera footage. And in his Ring camera footage, he was off on vacation. He noticed that it told him there was motion in his yard. So he checked it out afterwards. And he saw a guy walking into his yard from his front yard into his backyard. And it's some guy he don't know. He's never seen him before. Like I said, he's on vacation. Ring camera's just picking it up. And this crazy looking guy with a backpack on comes in, looks around his shed. Then he goes into the shed. This stranger that he's never seen before goes into the shed, into his backyard. So you can look as he scrolls through the whole live view. It's one of those Ring cameras, so it's live at all times. He has it all recorded. Nobody ever came out of the shed. So he decides to call the cops, tell the cops to go look and see what's going on. The cops show up to his house. He's still on vacation, so he can see everything that's happening. The cops go and check the shed. They go look around everywhere. Those dudes don't find nothing either. But then a few days later, some old guy comes wandering out of the shed. And the guy wanders off through his backyard, looks right up at the camera, and he doesn't know how he got in there. And if you look at the guy, you look at his face and his features, it's an old man. Obviously, he's got white hair, but he's got those glasses on, and he looks kind of a lot
similar.
He looks like the original guy that walked in. There was a young guy that walked in with the same type of hair, same type of glasses, and then he came out, and that's what he looks like. So a lot of people are saying that this is another case of time travel. All right, what do y'all think?
I'm always skeptical, but I'm curious to hear what BE thinks, because some of this stuff is mind blowing. But yeah, let's hear what BE has to say.
Well, so I'm definitely skeptical about it all, but it's fun. Like that, I would say, like, well, okay, somebody put makeup on, but there's like no tunnels in there. I read up on it. There's no, they have a camera on there the whole time. I always joke about the lady with the cell phone back in the day. She just had like one of those horns in her ears. But, who knows what the heck all this is. There's probably a good explanation, but I think it's fun to talk about. That one's just weird because you do have cameras. I'm always thinking somebody's screwing around with stuff, whether it be video or whatever, or that guy put on makeup and it's all set up. We never know. I've seen magicians do it and stuff like that, but it's always fun to talk about. I mean, I think there's definitely, we have the ability to time travel. I don't know if we've ever done it. Theory of relativity, like you said, as you get closer to the speed of light, if you were to go, whatever, 1 year out, speed of light, come back, if you could even survive that, people would be 100 years older on the earth. I don't know the exact time frame, but yeah, so I think that's possible. I don't think you can go back in time. I think you can go forward. So but I don't think it's ever been done. I think in theory you can do it.
It's true. Yeah,
that's all.
Yeah, I'm assuming you guys are talking about what, like the accelerator in was it Switzerland or whatever?
No, I didn't mention that, but yeah.
Oh, CERN? You mean CERN? That thing?
Yeah, because I mean, they, on a smaller scale, they've been able to kind of like manipulate time. I think we talked about it vaguely last week, because I've always been really curious on this. Like, if you got negative and positive, particles all over the universe, right? And you can learn how to manipulate them, kind of like when you take a magnet and put it together. If you take like the same polarities and you kind of push them, they repel, right? Because it has to be the opposite. So you basically create like this little bit of a vortex in front of you, like a window. Stephen Hawking had a really good documentary back in the 90s, late 90s, I think it was.
No, it's early 90s.
He's had a few. But I mean, the one I'm thinking I remember watching in particular was like really, really just well drawn out and explained of like how they can manipulate the polarities in space and like create almost like a window you can jump forward without actually, affecting anything behind you. And like the window closes. It's really cool, man. I have to find the name of it, but yeah, it's to me, it's like a good theory.
A brief history of time, right? Where they start off like with the chicken or the egg.
I believe that's it. Yeah, but the thing is, a lot of his stuff too is like rinsed and repeated in like different documentaries over the years. Yeah, so But anyway, yeah. So that's my take on it, man. I don't think that's really legit, because like when I watch America's Got Talent, and there's like a really good magician on there, and me and my girl like, oh my god, how the hell did this guy do that? And then like you tune into YouTube, and it's like a day later reveals his trick, and you're like, oh, okay, yeah, now it all makes sense. And we don't know, I mean,
for sure.
Unless I was sitting there watching with my own very eyes, that
right for that
little
proof.
shed.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I'm never gonna believe something like that. But I hope I'm wrong. I hope some guy, yeah. Oh, Poof's here. Oh, shit.
Yeah, we're going to talk maybe a little bit at the end about the cryptoids and all the market stuff. So, and by the way, if you are on my channel, you'll see pinned at the top Vault's channel. Just go over to Vault's channel. There's a reason we're streaming through my stuff because I got the StreamYard, but we're trying to move everyone to Vault's channel. So sorry for interrupting you, Mo, but there you go.
I was rambling.
To go to my channel. Y'all stay at BE's channel. I don't think it makes a difference. He needs the views too. But I was trying to figure out on that last one exactly how they could have pulled it off, because like both of y'all said, if magicians can do the crazy stuff that magicians can do, then there could be some trick to it. And I mean, you could have some kind of trap door at the back of the shed because it's at an angle and you can't see that back corner. So maybe they had like a trap door where he went out the back of the shed and then went out. There's a hole in the fence or something, and then the old man came in a couple days later. It's pretty elaborate, but I mean, if it gets you 20 million views on TikTok, then it's worth doing, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, no such thing as bad press, right?
That's right. A good point.
Yeah. I mean,
I haven't figured it out, Danny OC, not yet. There's a way to do it, I think. He for my birthday, he was going to give me a Cryptoid. So we got to figure teleport out of your wallet, send it to his wallet. Well, there you go. Poof just told us. But yeah, I think that I think it's interesting. The older stuff is more interesting to me, where it was maybe a little bit harder. You could still manipulate photos and stuff like that. But it's kind of cool to see those old videos. You're like, this doesn't make any sense. Like that lady walking around talking. I mean, she's crazy, obviously, right? She's talking to herself.
I mean, she's like a 90-year-old lady, though, and she's like, looks like she's 200 pounds. I don't think that'd be the ideal candidate for time travel, but I could be wrong. But the one with the kid or the guy with the shaggy hair sitting on the hill in 1907, that one blows my mind. I don't really understand. I can't explain that one.
Although, Vault, just real quick, sorry. I think about this though. Would they want to send? And you met me. Would they want to send somebody like me or you in time travel? Maybe there's no food when they get there, and then people like me and you would just die on the spot. You know what I'm saying? If you got a little bit extra meat on your bones, maybe you'll be able to survive. You know what I'm saying? A little bit of a fasting. That's just just maybe an idea, hot take.
Sorry. It could be a dude that's just all wrapped up in disguise so that he looks like an old lady, but he's actually a young time traveler. Who knows?
I could be too, trying to protect his identity.
Yeah. I don't know. Let us know in the chat. Let us know in the chat what you think. BE, you should start up a poll to see if people believe in time travel or don't believe in time travel. Not whether or not it's possible, because I think theoretically it is possible, but do you think it's ever happened? Now, some people will say that UFOs are time travelers from the future. That's a theory that I always get into and think about, because I am a little bit, as you guys know, a believer of UFOs. I think some of the UFOs that have been seen are legit, especially if you get into like crop circles and stuff. But maybe they're not aliens. Maybe they're just people from 2,000 years in the future, and they come back to see their ancestors or to see important events. Although they always show up in like Missouri in the farms or something. I don't know why they would choose that place.
Right by my house. They're always right here.
Oh yeah, St. Louis a hot spot.
I guess. Well, no,
he's the leader. That's what's going on. He's the ringleader. Yep.
That's our
I mean, we got crop circles here too, right under my chair, but that's just my really love of Chipotle and burritos. But a lot of crop dusting, you know.
Right on.
Hey, Vault, I try to ask the question. It looks like that won't go over, so maybe ask it on your channel. There's only like 10 people on my channel, so maybe ask it on yours if you can. I don't know if you can. Maybe you can.
I don't think I can.
Let us know in chat though if you believe in time travel. I'm kind of interested, at least in the theory that it can happen. I certainly think it's possible, only to go forward. I don't think you can go back in time. So
otherwise, go back in time, like Huey Lewis.
Right, exactly. Right. See Danny OC, he teleports all the time. He's talking about cryptoids actually. All right, so I mean, so we're saying that we believe it. We believe that it can happen, but we don't necessarily believe that these stories are real. Especially these days, if it's happening all the time, we got all these cameras, we've been seeing it. Same with UFOs and all that stuff. So that's where I second guess all of this. But I do believe, I do believe in UFOs and stuff like that, and I believe in time travel. So, I just don't know if we've actually seen it in person.
Yeah, the Philadelphia experiment one's really interesting too. I only know a little bit about it. Somebody had mentioned it to me, I think one of my subscribers, when I told them that we were going to talk about time travel. So I did some quick investigation on it, but that's something I want to go back and look into more, because that's actually pretty interesting. They got a lot of proof to back it up that it actually happened.
Yeah, and they got like stuck like in the ship when it like reformed, and that was a great movie too. I think that was from like 80s.
I think so. Yeah, 80s. Yep,
mid 80s, something like that. But but yeah, it's definitely interesting. And you got to think about it too, right? What's it called? The paradox. I don't know. There's a time travel paradox.
Yes,
like temporal paradox.
It's
So basically, because the whole thing is like, if you had time travel and you traveled, like you were saying, you could travel forward in time, but not back. Because if you're able to go back, you'd be able to, like I think like the main instance is like, shoot yourself through some sort of like wormhole portal. So if you actually shoot yourself in the future, well, no, I'm saying that's the paradox though, right? Like if you shoot yourself in the future, then like who actually goes back in time with the weapon, to load the gun, right? So like, it kind of creates, and this will really fuck your mind up if you really think about it. And I told you it's been a hell of a week. Finally lost my grandmother and stuff. But after we got done even talking about like stuff last week, I just been going down the rabbit hole. I just continued to go down to like space and Egypt fucking stuff. And man, like I told you, like one of my favorite things to do as a kid was to sit on Long Island and be like, wow, I lived in Babylon. And then like in my brain, I would just shut my eyes and like zoom out over and over again, but like, I'm on Long Island, I'm in New York, I'm on planet Earth, and I would just, in my brain, just keep zooming out, man. And if you really think about that shit, with all the galaxies and the fucking everything we have in this universe, man, like,
it's nuts.
We're a fucking microcosm, dude. We are a speck. Dude, and I really, really, really hope we make it to Mars in our lifetime. I hope that Europa, the Jupiter fucking moon, like, I hope all this stuff, and I think time travel, maybe not on the scale that we think it might be, where it's like, let's jump ahead 40 years. But I think being able to manipulate time is really going to be what's like that groundbreaking, step forward to kind of get us there. And with Mars, we only get one shot, right? With like one every 13 years or 12 years, you get one straight shot.
And it takes 2 years to get there, and 2 years to get back. By the way, like, and Atem, I'm not saying it right, I know, but like the most complicated part of it actually being able to happen is, could our bodies, if time travel, could we even survive moving at the speed of light? My son actually said this today, right before the show. I was talking to him about it, and it's a really good point. Could we literally even survive going that speed? That's the first thing you have to get by. Get by, if that's even a possibility, if that theory is even correct. But yes, I love going down the rabbit hole. I do the same thing, thinking like, Earth itself is maybe a half a grain of sand. People and all this stuff, I mean, we're not, like, it's not even measurable. If even Earth is a measurable thing in the whole universe. So lots of possibilities though.
Yeah, I love it, man. So I was like, you guys want to talk time travel? We probably need more than an hour, but I'm the guy to show up late. So what are you going to
do? Right, exactly. He wants to see me slam my desk. Yeah, but, maybe we should experiment. Maybe we should try. I'll send you first, Mo. How does that work? I mean, we'll send
I'm
you
down. I mean, I got nothing but time. So, I mean, yeah, I guess I can afford to lose a little or gain a little, depending on how we look at it.
Gain a little bit. I could probably do it easily with a little food. I could probably survive. Yes, and definitely sorry about your grandmother.
Yeah, I appreciate it, guys. Thank you, chat.
But yeah, so all right, so there's the time travel. Is there anything else you wanted to cover on time travel there, Vault or Mo? Any other stories maybe you want to go over?
I mean, there were other good ones. I just picked out the few of the best, but there's this one guy, he calls himself Time Traveler Zero, and he used to communicate through faxes, and then he started communicating through the internet, and he says he's a soldier from 2036 or maybe 2306. Oh, that's a big difference there, but he had complete diagrams of what his time travel machine looked like, and he like gave it to everybody. And a lot of people believe that he really was a time traveler, and then he disappeared in like 2001. Before he disappeared, he said, "I have to go back to my own time now." So there's lots of good stuff out there if you want to do your research. If you're interested in it.
As I say here, just real quick, because I just pulled it up. This is actually, that's the diagram, I think, of what his shipper.
Yeah, Titor.
Yeah, exactly. So. But yeah, there's definitely a bunch of really cool stuff out there, and of course,
I saw that in Jurassic Park. The new Jurassic Park movies had those.
I thought it was a flux capacitor.
Yeah, it's a mix. I think it's a mix. But yeah, just on the other thing, on the guy in New York who got hit by the cab.
Rudolph.
Rudolph. And I was so I have it up here. Like he had.
I'm actually not familiar with that story, so that's a good one.
It's really cool. So this is what he had, and this is Wikipedia. So I don't know if it's all true, but it's basically what Vault had said. He had a copper token for a beer worth 5 cents, bearing the name of a saloon, which was unknown even to older residents of the area. A bill for the care of a horse and the washing of a carriage drawn by a livery stable on Lexington Avenue that was not listed in any address book. About $70 in old banknotes. So that was a lot of money back then.
You don't have to call him a whore, by the way.
Yeah, okay. Business cards with name Rudolph Fence and an address on Fifth Avenue. So obviously he was doing pretty well. A letter sent to this address in June 1876 from Philadelphia, and a medal for coming third in a 3-legged race. I have one of those too. How about you, Mo? Do you have a 3-legged race medal?
Every time I go to the bathroom, it's a 3-legged race.
I love it. So I love that type of story. It's obviously, I don't know if I believe it. The guy was probably crazy, but it's stuff like that I love. That's a fun story. All right, so I think that is it on my poll. We weren't able to kind of share the poll. I have 100% from 5 people. So there you go. 100% of people believe in time travel. So that's good to know. One of the other topics we wanted to go over tonight, and then Mo, I know you might have something for gaming. If not, no big deal. We wanted to talk about the veto, the Biden veto, which is going over the SEC Staff Accounting Bulletin number 121. He vetoed this bill. I was a little confused of exactly what it was. But I know Vault has a lot of stuff on this. So why don't I pass that off to you, Vault, and we can go from there.
All right, let me share my screen a little bit just so we can get a little bit of information about this bill, this crypto bill that was vetoed by Biden. Just so everybody's clear, it's not the same bill that we talked about last week. Last week, we were talking about FIT 21. This is something completely different. It's called SAB 121. And it's why it matters is because it's the crypto industry began its fight against Chairman Gary Gensler's SEC in the courts and successfully extended it into a new field, the legislature. So the Senate and the House of Representatives both voted in favor of this bill. And what the bill does is and BE probably explained it better than me, but it has to do with the regulation and the accounting for big firms when they take out some of these ETFs, these cryptocurrencies that are like Ethereum and Bitcoin. And it's important that they have good regulation on that kind of stuff. So a lot of people on the right, of course, Trump fans are saying Biden's super anti-crypto because he vetoed this bill, but he actually is quoted as saying whenever he wrote the statement on his veto that his administration is eager to work with Congress to ensure a comprehensive and balanced regulatory framework for digital assets building on existing authorities. So he's not anti-crypto because he vetoed this bill. It's just that he wants it to be regulated better for those big companies, and the big companies want to be able to do it without regulation so that they can, scam. I don't know exactly why they don't want to be regulated, but and Congress went with them too. So I feel like the reason why the House of Representatives and the Senate voted in favor of this is because of their donors. And
because they're donating a lot of money right now into, and even to Democrats. This was a bipartisan bill that passed. There were more Republicans, but just real quick, if you don't mind. So the SAB 121, it went into effect in 2022 and states that as long as the firm is responsible for safeguarding the crypto assets held for its platform users, including maintaining the cryptographic key information necessary to access the crypto assets, the staff believes that the firm should present a liability on its balance sheet. This is what they don't want to do. Have the liability on the balance sheet to reflect its obligation to safeguard the crypto asset held for its platform users, and that it would be appropriate for the firm to recognize an asset at the same time that it recognizes the safeguarding liability measured at initial recognition and each reporting date at the fair value of the crypto asset held for the platform users. So you could see why this would be an issue because crypto is constantly changing. And one of the worries that Biden stated that he has and others, SEC, is that if it had been vetoed, it would take all the power away from the SEC moving forward to either change things a little bit or to make new laws to regulate, which I don't like. But I have a feeling, both sides are kind of bullshitting each other, and it's somewhere in between, and we probably need something in between. But there you go. That's kind of, if that helps you understand, I think that is a good way to state it. Mo or Vault?
Mo, what do you think about this?
I mean, it didn't really seem to have an effect either way. I think the market was kind of just waiting on what happened with the main bill. Was it 121 or whatever?
Yeah, 121. Yep.
Yeah, so because that had to be vetoed by yesterday, right?
Actually, there was a time frame that they said already had expired anyways, that it wouldn't have mattered.
I thought it was yesterday.
It might have been, but I
thought I got some notification from like Paul Barron or something that was like yesterday. But yeah, so I don't know. I think a lot of people kind of waiting on that. I did notice that my wallet did kind of go up today, so I thought maybe people feel a little more comfortable, a little more confident. But I don't know, man. I just feel like on the back end, there's just some guy that's like, oh, we didn't make enough money yet. We didn't buy enough Ethereum yet. We didn't buy enough Solana yet. We didn't buy enough Bitcoin yet. Fuck up the price again. Bring it back down. And then people like us are sitting here going, come on, bro. Like, make up your mind. Like, either tell us it's a scam or let it go, But again, I did see some articles today talking about, more assets being put onto the blockchain again, like we've talked about for a while now, insurances and DMVs and things like that. These types of companies now are going to start to go on the blockchain. That's why I told my boy even the other day again. He's like, oh, so how about those NFTs, huh? And he chuckles. And I'm like, yeah. I'm like, your fucking license is going to be an NFT by next year. I'm like, it's not going to be worth anything, just like my fucking BB comics. But, it's going to be an NFT on the blockchain no matter what that, is going to be trackable, and they can enable it or disable your license whenever the hell they want, and they can run a scan to see where you are, whatever. Another way to control it's probably right. But, it's happening, man. Like, we just need some sort of clarity, I think, is the short answer. So
absolutely. And I want some regulation. I know Vault wants regulation. I don't want too much. I think, and again, I'm no expert. I don't think anyone here is an expert. If I'm wrong, you can let me know, whether it's us three or anyone in chat. There's a lot going on here that is hard to understand. But what I want in the end is I don't want SEC's hands completely tied. It's already here. Crypto, we got Bitcoin, we got Ethereum. We talked about it last week. ETFs, it's not going anywhere. We need to be able to adapt as these things move forward. And if it's true that the SEC's hands were tied by the repeal of the resolution, not the veto, the repeal, which is what the Congress voted on, then I don't think that's good. If that's a lie, then obviously we have to relook at it. But I think regulation is good in this situation. It's going to make people more comfortable. I think the problem is that the banks are going to have the asset on their books and continually change it. It's going to be super expensive for them. So you could see why they would be like, well, hell no, we don't want to do this. So we got to come up with something that works. Yes.
Like, it's what I'm saying. Like,
right. Yeah.
You got to have regulation. Obviously, at some point, like I said, you don't want full, one way or the other. But I think clarity, even if it is a little too much regulation, as long as you have clarity, it's like if we were to get together, us three, maybe with chat too, if we're liking them that day, and we're like, hey, let's play Monopoly. And you're like, great, I'll play Monopoly. What are the rules? I don't fucking know. So if you don't know the rules of what game you're playing, like, it makes it so hard to navigate this minefield that again, and we've seen it. Why do we get so long on stuff like BB? You can even see how crypto is kind of addressing it, where like, hey, we'll do our normal connection on the website, but everything outside of it, when it comes to like real money, kind of like put your big boy pants on, you better know what you're doing. Like, they're not going to hold your hand on that. I think that's pretty evident by now. So. But again, that's more, I think, about staying clear of regulations and things like that, where it might be a gray area. But if you bring clarity into the mix, now who knows? I mean, you might be able to slap that thing every website, as long as there's some sort of like disclaimer that says, "Hey, you're on the blockchain now. Good luck." Like something.
Yeah. Well, people are okay with it. I mean, I don't know what chat thinks. You can let us know. I mean, if it's true that SEC's hands would have been tied and wouldn't be able to put guardrails, like, do you even want guardrails or do not want guardrails? I mean, a lot of people, there's a lot of people in this country and other places want zero regulation. That's a fine opinion to have. I personally think we should have regulation. I don't trust banks. I don't trust anyone when it comes to money. I think they're going to screw over people. But on the other hand, that's how a lot of people make money. So, I mean, let us know in chat.
And there's a lot of people in crypto who want absolutely no regulation at all. They say it's decentralized. Decentralized means no regulation. But I think no regulation is too dangerous for normies to get in it. It's too dangerous for mass adoption. And then there's people who misunderstand what this in particular is about. Like Alex Winter says that Biden's making it illegal for big corporations to hold Bitcoin. I mean, that's what the ETFs are. That made it legal for the big corporations to hold
exactly.
Bitcoin. This has nothing to do with it. It's more about whether the SEC should be in charge, or I don't know if it should be a Wild West, because if this would have passed and they would have revoked the bill in the first place, then the SEC would no longer be able to set policy over banks and industries. And then who sets the policy? I mean, do you have to go through Congress every time you want to set a new policy? So, I mean, I think it makes sense to veto this bill so that the SEC is the governing body over cryptocurrency. But I mean, once the regulations are all in place, maybe you don't need the SEC as much anymore.
Well, and I think you're right. And that was one of the issues was, that's exactly what would happen. The Congress would have to pass laws. So, I mean, in this situation, I'm okay with the regulation, and you guys know what you have to do. You vote for who you want, who's going to do the regulations you want. But I don't want to give up the regulations. I think it was probably a smart idea, as I understand the veto, to do that. But again, this is very complicated stuff, and I'm no expert. So, but yeah, so Big A saying zero regulation is Somalia, regulation overreach is North Korea. We want something in between. I completely agree. I want something in between, and probably nobody's gonna be happy. So,
if you see what Duck and Cover wrote in there about NBA Top Shot, I saw that too. They had a class action lawsuit or something big like that going on, and the judge or the court ruled in their favor that they are not securities. And I think that affects anybody who's collecting NFTs, because if those aren't securities, then VB NFTs, Cryptoids NFTs, none of those are securities either.
And that affects how things are taxed and all of that. So,
yeah.
Yeah. So there you go. You gotta love it. All this stuff is quite confusing. I wish I was a banker. I got to talk to my cousin. She works for the Federal Reserve. Maybe we can understand it better. But a lot of stuff out there. But I know people. Like you said, cryptocurrency is all about anonymity, and people don't want any regulation. That was the whole thing, deregulation, right? But now that it's legit. I can guarantee somebody like Big A or people who are big collectors of Bitcoin and Ethereum, it actually makes sense. It's actually going to protect you in the long run, unless you're a killer or you're money laundering, right? Like those people aren't going to be protected. Sorry, not sorry.
Right. And
well, this panel's out.
I don't think that Gary Gensler is in charge of all of crypto, because if he was and he's super anti-crypto, then the ETFs would have never got approved. But he is over the SEC, and the SEC is in charge of the current regulations for crypto, which they're not many.
Right. I'm not saying who Alex is saying, Gary Gensler. I know a lot of people are against him. I don't know much about him. I mean, I know what he's talked about. I'm not saying that I necessarily want him, but yes, I want somebody in the government to do it, because I trust that more than I trust a corporation or anything like that. That is literally their duty is to make their shareholders money. That is literally the law. They're considered a person. So yes, I do want the government to have them regulated. I don't want a lot of crazy regulation, just some. So
we need a crypto election. You know what I'm saying? Like you got November,
right?
Right? Like let's take up a day in like, I don't know, like maybe like June. Well, yeah, like it's warm out pretty much everywhere in June, right? And we'll do like a nice May or a June day with like a crypto election and just elect, whoever's calling the shots here at the top. Because then, yep, there you go, crypto czar, exactly. So let's make it, let's make it happen.
Who would it be? Who's your pick? Elon?
You.
Mark Cuban?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, make it me, and then see what happens.
First thing you do is shut BB down.
Shut it down.
First, what I'd say to Alex here is I would say that I doubt Biden even understands cryptocurrency. So let's first go there. That I don't think he understands it. I don't think,
and Trump definitely doesn't either.
I was just gonna say I don't think Trump does. My parents don't. Old people don't understand it. But Trump has been smart to be like, I'm going to adopt this thing because people are going to give me more money. That doesn't mean he understands it. Yes, exactly. Huge. Right. Good. That's what he wants to do. That's what he wants.
Go out and get him, folks.
Right.
You can get Donald J. Trump on the moon. You can find me on a camel. It'll be huge.
Right.
Mexico and B is going to pay for it.
And I know Danny O.C. now he's in Canada, so things are a little bit even crazier there with the taxing and all that. I wish we could have a system where people could regulate, but unfortunately that doesn't work either. And doesn't cover Bitcoin and Ethereum should come under CFTC regulation now that they're named as commodities, as if I understand it correctly. So I think because of the ETFs that we're having, there is regulation now. That's what makes it legit. That's what makes the baby boomers who have all the wealth, because nobody else has any wealth, interested in getting into Bitcoin and Ethereum. It makes it legit. So I like that. And he wants small community-based regulation. I mean, hey, if that could be executed, I could get along with that. I could do that.
I'm not sure how that would work.
Yeah, I don't know how it would work, but it sounds good. It sounds good.
And I think they outlawed CBDCs with the Fit 21. Or there was some type of bill where they were saying that they're outlawing. I don't know, maybe that was Trump's suggestion, but I don't think people really want CBDC, although
I read that with Trump. Yeah, I think that was a Trump thing, if I'm not mistaken, as well. But yeah, he took up the digital currency.
Yeah, and it would be like the country's digital currency, which I don't like the idea of it at first. But then if you think about having all government spending on the blockchain, like we talked about before, then I do like that idea, because then it cuts down on all the corruption in government.
Not really, because what's going to happen is you're going to try to save money with your digital dollar, and the government's going to say, oh shit, we need to taper inflation. And they're going to be like, oh, now your money expires on January 1st, which now means you have to spend your money. Or if they're not, they're not losing money and they're not bleeding like normal, then they'll say, hey, you know what? You get to keep your dollar for another year. And they can absolutely do that if it turns into a, CBDC digital dollar. So, and that's, that's kind of like the worrisome part for me, is that because the government would have a lot of control, again, and just kind of tapering inflation whatever direction they want. And they have enough power with that kind of already, but this would give them an insane amount of power if your money expired. Think about that.
True. I would hate that idea. I don't want my money to expire. It's not a good idea at all. I don't like it.
I don't. Yeah, that would be horrible. I think that's a horrible idea.
But it's a big possibility.
What I also don't like that we can just print money willy nilly. I think that's horrible too. And then we get inflation. It would be nice if we could have our money backed by gold and silver like it used to be, but we only have like what 56 or $100 billion in gold and silver. You know, Fort Knox.
Well, I haven't bought that much, but I told you guys a while back. I've been shifting a lot of money back to gold, man. When this fucking country
I just talked to somebody who did that.
Yeah, when this country goes to hell, and trust me, it's going to hell. This world's going to hell, and we all go back to fucking square one. Yeah, we're gonna need some gold because these digital comics and my virtual horses aren't gonna mean shit in a fucking desolate wasteland. So we're gonna need gold. Is basically my point. But I'm stocking up, man. Past couple months again.
It's not a bad idea. I mean, I normally, like a financial advisor is going to say you might want 2 to 5% in gold. I know other people are hedging with, Bitcoin and Ethereum. I think it's smart, not financial advice, but I think it's smart to explore all these different things to hedge your bets because we don't know what's going to happen. I don't think it's going to be the end of the world, but I do think that I do the same thing. I mean, I actually have real gold. You can buy it also in stocks if you want to do that. There's other taxation issues how you buy it, whether it's bullion or anything like that, but I think it's worth looking into because we never know what's going to happen. Although I don't think it's going to be the end of the world. I hope you're wrong, Mo. I hope you're fucking wrong.
Hey, I'm normally right. I mean, Nostradamus normally calls it, but I'm going to tell you right now, if I've ever been wrong, let me be wrong on that. But I still feel like, especially in this country, I know a lot of people aren't from the USA in chat too, but I mean, I feel like we are heading for a civil war. I feel like it's been happening for a while, and I think it would probably be the one thing that would save this country would be a civil war to let us fucking band together again, because war unites people and also drives economies. But, it would be real interesting to see that kind of shake out. But
yeah, but building bridges unites people too. There was an experiment done in 1976 with kids, and they had kids who hated each other. They had them build a bridge, and then they liked each other after that.
And they threw each other off of it. There was one fucking guy. There was one guy walked away, and he was like, "Yeah, I fucking love bridges." Yeah, because
you might be right.
Squid Games.
We're headed to something bad because if Trump loses the election, all those people might want to start a civil war. They're going to be upset, and if Trump wins the election, he's going to be getting rid of like the Department of Education, the FBI. So either way, win or lose, it's not looking good, honestly, in my opinion.
I hope you're wrong. I'm not as worried, but we'll see. We shall see. There's a lot of people on both sides. So
and I live in a blue state, so my vote really don't mean shit here, but I do my best.
And I live in a red state, and my vote don't mean shit here either.
Yeah, I was gonna say I live in a red state, and I'm just looking for a good conservative. I don't see one yet, so it's not going to happen this year. Anyone buying more OMI? Is anyone? Where are we at? Are we we're close to your mark?
We're at our mark. I even saw below.
Are we at there? It's just like a little bit off.
So it's actually a little bit below that for a second there. It's at 0005. I mean, I was kidding around when I said I was going to buy.
Hey, you thought it wouldn't happen. Right now you have to buy.
A couple more zeros.
You have to buy. Right. Like, where is the buy-in? Are we going to get NFT to OMI? OMI to NFT? I don't know. Let's see. I will not sell his gold. Sold all my gold for Bitcoin in 2019. Yeah, that's a zero regret move for sure. There you go. Trump will MAGA. There you go. That is Jay. We know he is a big Trump fan. No problem with that. It only took Biden 4 years to use an executive order to bring back Trump's exact policy at the board. What happened with that is that is, first of all, that is going to get sued in court. But yes.
It's not really a Trump policy. You're talking about Title 85 or something like that. It was created because of the pandemic. And then whenever it was time for that Title 85 to go away after the pandemic, Biden was on office and he didn't want it to go away, but Congress voted that it would. And the Title 85 is what closed the border. But before that, before the pandemic, Trump had the exact same policy that Biden has right now or had a week ago. And now it's pretty clear that he's doing it for votes, though. So it's not like something to be super excited or to give him credit for.
Well, the thing is, and Alex, I know he's obviously a Trump supporter. All these politicians are getting us to hate each other. And the reality is, if I was to talk to anyone who's conservative or Trumper or a progressive, most of them, maybe not progressive, but most of them want border control. This is the reality of it, and they don't want you to know that. whether they're moderate or a liberal or conservative, whatever. Most people want some type of border control. So it's not true, you know.
Yeah, I mean,
you know. Go ahead.
I'm just gonna say, like, I mean, I don't want to spark some weird ass fucking topic of debate here, but I mean, are we really fucking wrong though, dude? Like, look around our fucking country, dude. Like, and again, I'm gonna talk about primarily the United States of America, where there are some places in the United States of America where you can't even put up the damn American flag without people bitching and crying about, oh, take it down. It's war. Think about all the hurt. And it's like, dude, listen, this is our fucking country. And the same way I have no issue with gun control, like, people should be able to own a gun. But you shouldn't be able just to walk in and grab a fucking gun and go home and shoot it. Like, that should never be the case. But, if you have a license, the same way you drive a car, like, you take a test, they say, okay, you're eligible to shoot a gun. Here you go. Same thing, dude. Like, you want to come into the country? Do it the right way. Just fucking come in. Or else, you know what happens? You just get people that fucking take our jobs and fucking do shit and take our fucking money. And they're just a fucking drain on society. And, again, it's a sad truth. And I feel bad for a lot of these people, too. I don't know about you guys, but I have a hard time walking past a homeless dude. Like, I don't step over them. A lot of them I'm actually mad cool with. But, like, there's a couple, especially if they're, like, veterans. If they're a veteran, I give them, like, $5 every single time. I thank them for their service. I slip them some money. This guy that plays a harmonica at the supermarket. And this guy's mad chill. I've known this guy for, like, 10 years, man. And he's always just hanging out, plays his harmonica, plays some cool jams, and he's in a wheelchair. So, like, but I'm saying, if you want to come here, do the shit the right way. Just like anything else, man. Like, people just try to take shortcuts, and I think that's why we need some sort of control on that. But it's not always a popular opinion.
I think here's what I think people would not like, is saying that when we put this broad view of, they don't want the American flags, they hate us. Most immigrants that I've known or even talked to, not that I talk to a lot, love this country. They love it. But we hear these stories of ones that don't. And those, of course, are the ones that get out there that everyone hears. We have every right to control our border. Every country does it. We have the right to say how many people come in, who can come in. And I like the bill that Biden wants, that Trump was doing, was that you had to come in through the border. You can't break in through, some, sidewall or jump the fence. You got to come in through the border and do it right. I completely agree. You got to do it right. If you're not doing it right, that's illegal. You can't be here. I think most people understand that. But we do have a lot of, seasonal workers. And I think we need to have visas and allow that. And I just think there's a lot of hate right now for people who want to come here when we're all, this, beautiful, alphabet soup of different people and cultures. That's who we are. But yes, we should be able to control our borders and how many people come in. But I don't. You
said visa, and you're doing it the right way. They're coming in the right way.
Yeah, absolutely.
Have you guys ever tried to move to another country? Because I have.
No.
And
Canada's really hard.
Exactly. Every country's really hard. They don't want fucking Americans anywhere. They want to know exactly what you bring to the table. And nine times out of 10, most of us are like, absolutely nothing. And they're like, yep, can't come here. Sorry, guy. And they don't give a shit. And no one's fucking calling them out. But yet we're like, let him in, give him asylum, ship him here, do this. I'll tell you, man, it's fucking crazy. Nobody playing victim. I'm just saying that if you look at the fucking facts here in the United States of America, patriotism is under like 40%, and Christianity as a religion is even lower than that. And this fucking country was founded on those beliefs. So if you want to tell me why this country's going to shit, there you go. You know what I mean? Like, that's the writing on the wall. They said, people are worried about the second coming of the devil, yada, yada, right? Like, listen, the devil ain't going to be what you think it is. The devil is going to be AI. The devil is going to be all sorts of weird shit that we didn't see coming. And new levels bring new devils, man. And we're telling you, we're in for a fucking world of hurt in the next 5 to 10 years, especially if Donnie Boy gets elected. And, it's going to be kind of crazy.
Yeah, I think it's probably good that we're getting less and less Christian, because it's not healthy for grown adults to believe in fairy tales. And I don't see how that makes us a better country. I mean, when it comes to illegal immigration, though, if you look back through the last 40 years, almost every year, about 1 million illegal immigrants came into the country through the border, through the southern border. And without those 1 million people, our economy would collapse, because they do a lot of that day labor. And really, if you wanted to slow down illegal immigration, you would go after the corporations and the companies that are hiring those illegal immigrants, which they never do. And it was just that the Title 85 came, and it was in effect for like 2 years, and that stopped people from coming in. So that million average slowed down to like less than 100,000 people coming in per year. And then when they reopened the border, you had all those people that were waiting to get in, and they're just using it to fearmonger. I mean, I agree that you shouldn't be able to come in. And we talked about it before. If you're seeking asylum, you shouldn't be able to stay in the country until your hearing. But I don't know where else you're supposed to go.
no.
I mean,
Right,
we
we're
need to do
supposed to go.
something with Mexico so that they can stay in Mexico until their hearing, and then we need to hire more judges so that they can have those asylum trials. And shouldn't be as lenient letting people come in to claim asylum when they're not really in danger like they claim they are. But Democrats have tried to pass that bill to get more funding for more of those judges, and the Republicans completely reject it because they want to campaign on it. And just like 4 years ago and 4 years before that, it was only on election years that you heard about all these caravans that were coming to invade us. And actually, those were people that were going straight to the border and doing what they were supposed to do, claiming asylum, although I doubt all the claims were legit. But it's just something that people on the right like to fearmonger about during election years. And I don't think it's quite as bad as it seems. You just got a lot more social media now, TikTok, where you can blow stuff up. Just like right now, they say that crime is like super out of control because you see all these TikTok videos about all the crime. But actually, if you look at the statistics, crime is way down. It was much higher when Trump was in office, especially during the pandemic. So it's all about more media being consumed and fear mongering.
Well, for me personally, it's using my eyes. I mean, again, here in New York, we have a really big immigration issue here with all sorts of different types of people coming in. And again, I know people, and I know people that do all sorts of illegal labor, and I know, trust me, like it's definitely an issue. And I'm not saying that there aren't people that shouldn't rightfully be here waiting for court dates and stuff like that. Like I get it, I try to have empathy, but again, if you have the option to just do it the right way before you even leave, then just do it the right way. I don't know why America thinks that we're like this fucking with this complex of like we got to fix other people and shit. Like, this is like parents that have crackheads as children trying to tell the people how to parent their kids. You know what I mean? Like, take care of your own shit.
I think it was because we were based on immigration, but like I think it would be great. Why can't we say you've got to start the process in your country to get here instead of having to go on this? First of all, it's very dangerous. I know the Republicans have tried to use that as they're trying to save the people. They're not trying to save them, but it is a good point that a lot of the people that come up here, they get raped, they get beat up, they get their money stolen. It's not a safe trip for a lot of them. It would be nice if we had a way for them to start the process. We know when they come into the country and they put on the little tracker ankle bracelets, I think the number's like 95% will return to go to court. So we know how to do it now. Of course, there's a big expense with that, but we do know how to get people to get through the process quicker. If we had more judges, which we'll never get, same reason why the IRS will never get more people to run that stuff, is because people don't want that to happen. They don't want the process to be easy or to go fast. They want to complain about it. That's my opinion. I could be completely wrong, and you can tell me to go F off. But that's the way I see it.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, like I said, it's it's definitely an interesting topic. I don't know if we really had this on the radar for Tales from the Crypto. I might have.
I don't think so.
I might have completely fucking derailed into that. My apologies, but
fun topic. I like talking about.
Oh, but honestly, this is a fair question. When I like Nickel, it's a fair question. No, my family, some of them were escaping the Holocaust, so some were sent back and died. You've heard the story that actually happened in my family. So I do understand that there are people that are trying to escape bad stuff. It's really hard because I really do care about all these people. There are scammers in every group, and how do we weed that out? Sometimes people say it's better to let 100 guilty people free. Because if you have one, I'm not getting the saying right, but my point is that it's hard with a lot of scammers in these scenes, or not as many scammers, but scammers coming up trying to get into the country. They ruin it for the people who really want to come in, who should be allowed to come in. And that's what we have to get through. But I get what you're saying, Nickel. Like a lot of people, if you're in an emergency situation to try to leave your country or to try to do it from your country, it might be too late. But I wish there was a process that could be done for some. I don't know what the hell I'm saying.
Well, yeah, like I said, you have to have a certain amount of immigrants every year, or you're not going to have people to fill these jobs, these day labor jobs that regular Americans aren't going to do, especially for that low pay.
Right.
Not wrong. I mean, first and foremost, I guess fix the low pay, but then we start going down a whole nother rabbit hole of where where our great country sends their money. But yeah, man, that was fun. Thank you.
Yeah,
Chad.
we like to start a lot of shit, but that's but honestly, this is important. But here's the thing: like, we may not all agree with each other, but this is a good conversation, and I appreciate like, everyone in chat and all of us, because this is the reality of how most of these conversations go. And politicians want to make us hate each other, and that's the part that I freaking hate, because we don't.
I'm gonna give you the best political quote, and it's from Matthew McConaughey. Okay, and he says, everybody's yelling on the left, everybody's yelling on the right. He's like, just meet me in the middle, man. Meet me in the middle. Let's have a conversation. Let's hash it out. And again, that's kind of like what you're saying. Like, it's always easy for people like us. I know me and Bolt don't see eye to eye on a lot of stuff too, but me and him can always have a conversation, you know. And I talk with plenty of other people who don't see eye to eye with me on all sorts of different topics, but they're always just, you know, I don't want to say calm conversations, you know, because people get passionate. But at the end of the day, I think people realize, like, I'm not coming after people. They're not coming after me. It's just kind of like, all right. And then the next day, it's like, yo, what's up, man? You know, hope all is well. You know, again, because sometimes things get heated. You know, there's a lot of important, because a lot of times it's moral things too. I mean, some people might have different, you know, levels of morality that they take into account on their daily lives too. You know, I mean, and I'm not saying it's for better or worse. You know, there are some people that are holier than thou, and it's like, you know, again, I don't want to get on a religious trip, but like, if you don't really fall in line with their religion, like, you are absolutely worthless. And I'm like, well, doesn't that go against being like an all-loving person? Like, shouldn't you just love me regardless because I'm a human being? You know what I'm saying? Anyway, right. But it's kind of crazy to me, man. So again, like, yeah, this show and having people like us, man, we can just hash it out. And that's what I love, dude.
And talk about it and hear what everyone else says. What I would say about this Bruin is there are a lot of jobs that people would do.
I already met Vault, Big A, motherfucker.
I know you got to meet Martin Spurlock, who just died, right? He did that 30 days thing, and he did one where he picked like fruit and stuff. And that is one job that Americans do not want to do, and they don't do a good job at it. And there's a lot of workers coming from Mexico and other places that do it and love it and do it really well. Those type of jobs Americans don't want to do. I think that's been proven. But yes, there are some jobs that are going to be taken that Americans would do. I think that's, you know, that's the consequence. But that is why we get to control how many people we let in here to do it, how many visas we give out, worker visas, and stuff like that. We should be able to control it to not only help other people, but to also take care of people in our country.
I think there's a story of this guy in Mississippi who was like super right wing, and he made it a point that he would no longer hire any more illegal immigrants to work his fields to pick the fruit. So he actually jacked his pay really, really high. He was paying them like 40, 50K, and he would only hire Americans. And something like 95% quit the first week because it was such hard labor that in the sun, you're picking fruit all day. They wouldn't do it.
I mean, I wouldn't do it. I've gone to the apple farms here. I pick one apple. I'm like, fuck this. I'm out of here.
Oh, come on, bro. All three of us, we show up to work at like 5 a.m. We smoke a fat fucking joint, and we get out there and we pick fucking apricots and apples all day. I mean, you guys really complaining?
Right.
Especially if you want to pay me well enough. You know what I mean?
For sure. And by the way, Bruin's right. I completely agree. Coming over legally, and that's with the visa and MoKnowz like that. I think. Again, coming over legally, maybe we need more visas for those specific things so they don't have to break into the country. But yes, I completely agree. There's a lot of, and what we have to realize too is that there's a lot of people who have done it legally who are waiting that long period of time. And then some people just come in and get in faster. That is also not fair to them. So it needs to be fixed. The whole system needs to be fixed. But I'm not against foreign people coming into this country. We were made with immigrants, but we should be able to control that number.
You can actually also call TLC and apply for 90 Day Fiance. That's another way.
That's right. You can get it. That's the best way to get into this country.
Which, by the way,
90 days.
I started watching the that Love in Paradise version. I don't normally watch that one.
Yes.
And for whatever reason, I started watching it, and it's kind of freaky on some of the storylines, but I was like, I'm eerily attached to this show. I don't know why, but yeah, it's a guilty pleasure of mine.
All of them like we are, right? That's how it is.
It's just 90 Day on one screen, spinning slots on the other, like watching horses and shit, man. It's pretty much all I do.
Let's see here. I'm just
Yeah, and I will say that for Bruin 88's comment to be true, have them come over legally and hire them for that job. You can't do it at the point of the immigration. You got to do that with the companies and the corporations that are hiring people illegally. Trump would be one because he's been known to hire a lot of illegals for Mar-a-Lago. But if you stop the companies from hiring illegals, that's how you can fix that problem. But they never want to do that. They want to blame the immigrants, and they don't want to hold the companies who are actually making money off of them accountable at all. And immigrants do pay into the system, and they don't get like tax returns. They're not supposed to really get health care, although hospitals have to treat you if you come into the emergency room. But a lot of estimates, and I don't know exactly how the estimates work, say that illegal immigrants pay more into the system than they take out. I don't know if y'all will buy that, and I haven't researched it, but I hear that stat on my left-wing news all the time.
I've heard that before, that they still do have to pay Social Security, but they don't get anything out of it.
And they always pay state.
They're stealing. This is not going to be. I mean, they are, but they're stealing another person's Social Security number, so they have to pay taxes from the job, but they don't get any benefit from it. So
Gotcha.
there is that part to it, and I'm no expert, and the thing is I think the worst thing is to look at these immigrants as enemies. I think that's the problem. We have this idea that, if you're liberal or conservative, you're my enemy. These immigrants are enemies. They're not enemies. There are bad people within those groups, but not everyone is our enemy. We got to start looking at each other as we're humans. And yes, we're allowed to, as a country, do what we need to do to keep ourselves safe and borders and keep people in our country having jobs. But we do have to look at the big picture too, and help when we can help people. Just not look at people as enemies. I think that's the worst thing that we do, is we always look at people as enemies first instead of humans.
And the important thing to remember is the enemy of your enemy is your friend.
Right. That is true. That is very true.
That will get you very far in life.
Okay, so he says, don't believe what the big companies hiring illegals. Don't believe the illegals pay Social Security tax either. I'm going to look it up. Look, I respect Bruin. He's a very smart guy. He's a lawyer. So I need to dive a little bit more into it, because I've heard both of these sides. But yes, thanks, Bruin, for giving us that clarity there. If a company hires an illegal, they need to be fined. I believe laws are made to be upheld, and that is probably what we need to do, right? If there are people hiring these people, they shouldn't be, and that is the reason they keep coming over.
And my point is that
I liked you for a reason, Bruin.
Yep. What was that, Vault? And then
I was just saying, my point is that they're not upholding those laws. The laws exist.
Yes, exactly. Right. And then Mo, I totally missed what you said. I apologize.
No, I said I always knew there was a reason why I like Bruin so much. But
oh yeah,
I mean, laws are also meant to be broken. I mean, it's really depending how you look at the glass sometimes,
Yes. What was that butchering company? I don't know if you saw, they were hiring kids.
Yeah.
They've got
butchering kids.
Yeah, they should have been. That would have been better, right? No, they had them working. They were like 13, 14. They go to high school. They come work at this place all night, and very dangerous situation, and they were definitely kids. Like, it wasn't like you couldn't tell that they looked like adults. These were kids, and they were getting injured. So there are companies that are breaking the law by hiring immigrants, illegal immigrants. They do need to be fined too. There's a big issue with that.
I think it's
interesting. I wish you weren't on YouTube.
Bruin says if you break the law, you need to pay for the crime. So what do you think about Trump being convicted? Does he need to pay for the crime? According to the jury, he broke the law.
All I would say to that, because this is just for everyone out here, he still has the right to appeal it. I'm not a big Trump fan, but he still has a right. So technically, yes, he was found guilty of the 34 counts. He probably is guilty. The question is, on appeals, is he going to get out of it? So unfortunately, for the people who are super excited about that, he still has the appeal process, which shows us, by the way, that our legal system is working. Because he gets all the same stuff that everyone else gets, in my opinion.
Well, he didn't necessarily get all the same stuff that everybody else got. He got contempt of court 9 times and didn't get punished for it. And then at the end of the trial, he was supposed to report to his probation officer, which he didn't. And if it was any other person who got contempt of court 9 times and was supposed to report to their probation officer and didn't, they would have locked him up. But I kind of think the charges were trumped up in the first place. The DEA or the DOJ and the FTC, or the Elections Committee, actually, none of them wanted to charge him for those exact crimes, but this Alvin Bragg guy did, so that he could make a name for himself. So they were kind of trumped up crimes. But if you look at the crimes in Georgia and on the secret documents that he kept, those actually are the ones that I think he's more likely to, I don't know about face jail time, but more likely to be punished for.
Or found guilty. And yeah, there's some truth to that. I mean, look, this is a New York thing. It could have been a federal thing. New York decided to go after them. Plenty of prosecutors do this for political reasons. It happens on both sides, so I'm not surprised that it happened. But yes, it's a weird situation. I think Big A has it right. Laws only apply to people who can't afford good lawyers. I mean, come here to Missouri. If you can
Also
afford,
true.
you can get all your tickets fixed. You can even be a drunk driver, and you can basically pay your way out. And then Bruin saying, really, Trump's conviction. Come on, you really believe that? What is his crime? I mean, it again, just like we used to talk about with like Bill Clinton stuff. Does this stuff matter? Look, it's not the biggest of deal, but it was a crime to use not his own money to pay off. That's what they're saying. But again, he has an appeals process here that he's going to get to go through, which is going to be way beyond the election. So it doesn't matter. These are the two guys we have to vote for. Nothing's going to change that.
Did not
he's
have
changing.
sexual relations with that woman.
Right.
You're
But my
so
cigar did. My cigar did. Right.
the Chappelle skit. Oh, dude, that's the fucking best.
So let's see. Vault, the left wing court, Mo, BE, even you, Vault, would be guilty.
Yeah,
That
if I
left-wing
cooked my
court.
books, I'd be guilty too. I mean, a crime's a crime. I mean, it's
Yeah.
kind of different than what happened with Clinton, because hooking up with an intern in the Oval Office is not technically a crime. But
Right.
cooking the books and paying off this porn star with campaign finances and
right.
saying that you didn't is a crime.
Now, is it a big deal?
No.
The people who like Trump are going to say it's no big deal. The people who don't like Trump are going to say it's a big fucking deal. Guess what? It's somewhere in the middle. It's somewhat a big deal. He shouldn't get any jail time for it. It doesn't happen. If he does get jail time, it'll be like a day, in my opinion, if he gets it. And the only reason he get it because he was a dick to the judge. The judge could go after him.
It was so much better though when we were talking about like presidents sleeping with secretaries. I mean, now we got a president that won't even wake up half the time, and they're going after Trump, right? I mean, shit. Because back like the Clinton days, I mean, I guess not the Bush days; those were kind of weird too. But yeah, man, those are crazy times.
Yeah, but they were like 42, right? We had younger presidents, which is what we need.
Yeah.
Now we got Altacockers, which is an old.
But dude, that's like, that's like the ultimate fucking pickup line. Again, paraphrasing from Chappelle, where he's like, "Hey, suck my dick. There's a future in it." You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
we can't. None of us go around saying that to women and getting away with it because there is no future in it.
Does
maybe
Bruin,
rug burn.
Yeah, maybe right. Exactly. I guess Bruin does not trust the appellate court judges. I don't know who they are. Bruin, you would know way more than me. Look, here's the good news: is if you are a Trump fan, it's not going to matter. Is this going to make a difference? Probably not. And none of this other stuff is, if he becomes president, it's going to even matter. So we'll see where it goes.
The country's so fucked up; it's going to make him vote even more.
This is what I
Trump.
want. If I could say anything, guys, I don't care if you like Biden or Trump. There's no president that I love. That's my God or whatever. I don't trust presidents. You have to be a certain type of person to do it. And when they say, when they're coming after me, they're coming after you, that is the biggest fucking bullshit I've ever heard. When they're coming after Trump, they're not coming after you. If they're coming after Biden, they're not coming after you. That's their own bullshit, people. Don't believe it. They are going after them. That's their stuff. People going against your president is not going against you. That thing when people say that pisses me off more than anything. Like, there's no connection between you and a billionaire or you and a president, Biden or Trump. There's no connection. Zero.
You believe this shit, Ball? We're not billionaires, bro. The fuck?
Yet. I've been taking meme coins.
Yeah, I mean, we do have Mammoth AI, right?
Yeah.
I'm waiting
You never
for
know.
that.
Get into Mammoth AI right now. You might be a billionaire one day.
I did. It actually went up 3.6%. I'm super
Let's
excited.
go.
Let's go. It's a hush money.
Yeah, I'm trying to dig back into AI coins and some other bullshit. But
I think, Bruin, the only crime was that he used campaign finance money, and the fact that he could have used his own and didn't, that's his stupid fault.
I was trying hard to segue. So hard.
Yeah, it's so hard to segue out of it. But look, I appreciate all this. Hey,
when you keep bringing up the messages, yeah.
I've never voted once in 41 years. I'm not voting until a candidate talks about his mushroom experience. There you go. Ronnie Lido. There's Ronnie Lido talking his reality there.
I feel like
we have a best mushroom experience. Do any of us on the panel have a favorite mushroom experience?
I don't have a good experience. I have a horrible experience. I did it, and I walked around college, and after about a half hour, I freaked out. I went back to the fraternity. I watched cartoons. Those freaked me out. I couldn't get to sleep fast enough. It was horrible.
had to watch like Looney Tunes and like Scooby Doo and shit.
Nothing. It wouldn't matter if it was the happiest cartoon. I thought I was going to get killed. So
yeah, I have better acid experiences.
Me too.
My mushroom experiences were not that good. I mean, there was one time I took it for Thunder over Louisville, which is like the biggest fireworks show. And I mean, it was kind of cool looking. The only thing I remember is looking down and all the rocks on the ground were like moving around like little bugs or something. But yeah, my acid experiences were more dramatic than my mushroom experiences.
Yeah, I definitely love acid more.
Yes, 100%.
Like, mushroom wise for me, I had to eat them with Doritos. It's the only way I can ever get them down. But I think the worst trip was like me and my boy took them. We went to go meet these other kids that we kind of knew through some chick. So we just kind of showed up at this big old field in the middle of winter on a hill, and we're sitting there and tripping balls. And all of a sudden, the other two guys show up we didn't know, and they're at the bottom of the hill, and they decide to set off fireworks. So fireworks start going off, and me and my boy had like the same visual. You know, sometimes you get on that same plane when you're tripping together, and we thought we're in the middle of war. We were fucking running like it was like storming like the fucking shores, bro. Like we were running for our fucking lives, dude. And we ran back to the car. We fucking sped home. I remember seeing like my dad, and we're like, they're shooting at us, and we just fucking ran into the room. And I drove home too, and we actually saw like two of my boys on the road, the side road, and they just said, bro, you stopped, you looked at us, you're like, yo, I think I just hit a dog, and you fucking gunned it, and you fucking ran home. Because there was a dog that we thought ran out into the street, and we were like, nah, that wasn't really a dog. Because people got out, we would have like seen blood or something, you know. But yeah, don't do that, by the way, kids.
I was just going to say, by the way, we don't endorse. We did, and we did a lot of this stuff when we were
it was like a video game. You know what I mean?
In a video game, exactly. But
the rules didn't apply back then. You know what I mean? Like we weren't as distracted back then as we are today. Like, because if it was today and you were tripping balls trying to check your fucking your fucking Twitter, checking your fucking, you know, all your social stuff, like, God, it would be so bad. I'd probably crash every 5 minutes. But back then, bro, we fucking just trip and drive. I drove to Six Flags on acid, and like the Long Island Expressway was on fire. And I was driving past cops, man, just like yelling and screaming out the window. Fucking lunatic, bro. Like I could never think about even doing that shit today. But, you know, we were like fucking 19, 20 tops.
Wow. I always hear about DMT. And it sounds crazy to me. Like they didn't have that back in my day. I don't know if I would try it or not. But man, the stories I hear about DMT, like you all see the same kind of little mechanical elves. And have y'all ever done it, or would you do it? I think I'd be too scared to do that.
I wouldn't do anything these days.
No DMT.
I mean, I'm, you know, yeah, I don't know, but ecstasy. I mean, ecstasy's pretty good. So I don't know. Maybe
I always thought X was like super dangerous. I don't know. Again, just from
I just heard I've
seen on it. I've done it, obviously, but like I don't know. It's just acid always seemed like a better alternative. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. It's something, I guess, with the heroin in X, right? Like I just felt like there was always some weird, and maybe it's because I never did heroin. You know, like maybe it's just that weird feeling in my body. But I used to freak the fuck out on X, man. Ketamine, same thing on ketamine.
Oh, I couldn't do. No way.
I was trying to score with this. I did X several times. I liked X. I liked that.
X was good. Yeah, I was told if my friend in the fraternity, he's like, if you do X, just remember sex will never be as good without it. I did not agree with that, but it was definitely good with it. So
Bruin88 sent me a message here. He says, why did the moderator time me out? Can't send messages in chat. The only moderator that I can even see here is Jay, and Jay is very, very pro-Trump. So I don't think he would have timed you out. That might be YouTube messing with you.
Might have been
no, Bruin, there's no, you know me, I would not, especially you, I would give you extra chances. Apologize. I certainly didn't. And I don't even know how that works. It wouldn't have been on my channel. So.
I don't even have my YouTube pulled up to do it. And like I said, I don't think there's very many moderators. Besides Jay. So.
Yeah, I know. And I appreciate everything Bruin says. I really like Bruin. And by the way, can I just play this for Bruin because I know he's upset. And this is the one thing that here we go. There you go, Bruin. Let's bring it back down a little bit. I know you're upset.
That's our mo face.
I respect and really appreciate everything Bruin has to say. So hopefully I can't see a moderator doing it. Let's see. X is MDMA. That's right. If you get the real stuff, there isn't heroin in unless they mix it. Yeah, and you have to get the heroin.
Fucking X.
You ever seen the back of a $20 bill? I have looked at the back
weed.
Weed, right? DMT is the closest you get to meeting God. Well, there you go. So you heard it here first, everyone. But don't do drugs. Don't do, especially if you're young. It's dumb. When you get older, you'll have plenty of time. Why not BE? Tim did enjoy it. What did I? Now I'm so far behind. I don't know. God, who put him in timeout? Who the fuck put him in?
I don't know. I was looking through the chat too to see if it said.
I don't even see. Actually, we can we should be able to see on our private comments from you guys if it was taken off. I don't even see that happened. I don't know if you see that either.
No, I see nothing in private chat. I think it was. I mean, YouTube will time people out sometimes. That's the reason why on my Pokemon game I have to do catch 2, and catch 3. Because if you say catch too many times, they won't let your messages come through. And maybe if you use the same word in all of your messages like 4 or 5 times in a row, I think it's a YouTube thing.
Yeah, but he didn't even say anything bad.
No.
Or
maybe
fast.
just repetitive. Yeah, I don't know.
He says I mean, elements timed him out. He must have did all caps or something. So I know that happens to Greedy sometimes.
I would never. Yeah, there's no way Jay would do that either, and I respect Jay too. So, but it produced our pineal gland, especially. Ronnie, can we? You said Ronnie said he's doing DMT in 2 weeks. Can you film that? Can you do something smart and film that for us?
Live stream it.
Yeah, live stream it. I want to see it. What do you think of about FPS coin? Wow, that's a big that's a big change from what we were just talking about. X was best. Sorry, Mo. Yeah, X was really good. I completely agree on the shrooms. I understand Ronnie being like those things are not natural with acid, but
I just like more loose. I guess I like the visuals more. So for me, I guess I remember taking acid and just going to my boy's house, and he had one of them closets with the slits in the door. And I just pressed my head against the closet, pure blackness. And I took this fucking 2-hour journey into the closet, bro. I was deep diving in this fucking thing, bro. I was 400 feet fucking underneath the surface, bro. And then I come up, and this is fucking 97, 98. So first round of cell phones basically, and my fucking phone goes off, and my boys hit me up yo, come outside. And I'm like, who the fuck is this? They're like, bro, tell me their names, whoever who it was. I come outside, I come alone. And when you're tripping, you get that, you just get crazy fucking suspicious about everything going on. And I'm like, bro, why you want me to come outside by myself? No, dude, just come outside and come alone. I'm like, fuck, all right. So now I'm Mission Impossible, bro. I fucking sneak out my boy's house. I'm just fucking up against the wall by the fence trying to see if these guys are trying to sneak attack me out of the fucking trees like a bunch of ninjas. Turns out they just want to smoke a blunt, but they didn't want to share with everybody else that was in the house. So they decided to fucking freak me out because they were tripping on the same acid that I was tripping on because we get it from the same guy. So he told me, he's like, yeah, I saw Joe a little while ago, blah, 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 blah. So, bro, it was just, it was one of those fucking crazy things where you only get that if you actually ever trip, because you go in your own head sometimes to this whole other place. You know what I mean? And
I just know I couldn't handle it now, though. There is no.
I don't think I could either. I don't think I could. No. I've had it offered to me, but I can't.
I mean, I certainly could get it. I can't do it. I know isn't Oregon, you can get all that stuff unless they got rid of the psychedelics. I think they were looking at getting rid of that. But there's a few states that actually allow the
I think California, you're allowed to.
Is it California too?
I think so.
By the way, Big A wants to know, this will be a fun one for Mo and Vault. All right, Randy hasn't done a tripping stream in a few months. Also, I wonder why Vivi didn't hire him for the community manager. Maybe they did, and it didn't work out. I don't know. What do you guys think?
Could be that secret ambassadors program they got going on.
Oh shit!
Too now.
Damn.
Oh shit!
Damn. You know what I have to say about that?
I always knew it, BE. I always fucking knew it, man. Behind the scenes. That's where you got BE from. Because you're always working behind the scenes. So you were just you know what? I'm just going to chop off the first 2 letters. BE, call it a day. Look at that. Typical liberal shit, right?
You caught me. Let's see, I can't even move once I have 5. He even knows Grant. I don't even, I'm just okay, give it to me. And I put it in my mouth. That was it. That's how I
now you sound like every girl I ever dated in high school.
Right? Are you saying they all put it in their mouth? That's kind of cool.
Yeah. Well, back then, they were trying to make a name for themselves again. You know what I mean? We talked about this. I was pulling the Bill Clinton lines back then. It actually worked.
Hey, I mean, nice. There you go.
You got to remember, in the late 90s, people didn't have fucking smartphones in their pocket. Chicks couldn't fact check me on the fly and be like, oh, you're really full of shit. You know what I mean? So
did you have that StarTAC phone?
I did, actually, absolutely.
That was the cool. People don't remember. That was the coolest phone. Everyone had to have it.
that's how. So the chick I was dating at the time, right? Her dad was so suspicious that I was selling weed, and I used to push a lot of weight back then. And the second he saw my star tag on the thing, and he was like, I instantly knew. He told me, he's like, I instantly knew you were a drug dealer. And I'm like, oh, shit.
What?
I'm like, all right, like, because again, back then, like, you had pagers, but even pagers were mainly for like doctors and fucking drug dealers.
They were
like
for mostly doctors and drug dealers.
Like, outside of that, you really didn't need one, you know. But I remember back then, like, chicks used to like 143. They used to like spell shit out. What was it, like 07734? Right? You flip it upside down was hello or some weird shit like that.
80085.
Boobs. Oh wait, yeah, boobs.
I always like that one. No, we didn't. I don't think we got the Star Tech in time in Indiana. We always get everything like 5 years after a place like New York. We in St. Louis too. Really, we get.
I was just saying, we got it here. We get things pretty damn late here in St. Louis. But I mean,
we had pagers. I had 2 pagers, one for the girls and one for my friends. I thought I was cool.
Dude, I used a pager in 2006-07 when I had my business, just so my partner could get a hold of me. So I could turn, because your phone, everyone could ring you back then. So I had the pager. If there's an emergency, I would just get the page and then I would know and not have to, I could silence my phone. So
what about the Nextel? Remember the chirp, the beep, beep?
Yes.
That was the most annoying shit.
Yes. Where you
especially if you were selling weed, people hit you up like, yo, you got a 20? I'm like, yo, motherfucker, don't ever fucking chirp me on the fucking Nextel.
Because there's no way to filter it out. They literally
are
direct talking to you. That's right. And we did that actually with the business, and we learned real quick that was stupid.
Holy shit. But it was good. Like, if you were like construction work on the fly and you were like, hey, bring down this, and you had like shit in your hands, like it would make sense. But if you were like doing any sort of illegal activities, you definitely did not want a Nextel back then. I tell you that.
I want to know. I'm pretty sure Big A was a drug dealer because he said in 1989 in 8th grade he had a cell phone. Do you have that huge? Well, that huge one was like 86, 87.
Oh, the
one
Zach Morris.
Like the $4,000 one. The crazy. Like my dad had a little briefcase with a phone in it. He had that back in the 80s, and you could make call. But that was over. I forgot how they did it. But that first cell phone thing that was like $4,000. Big A was pimping back then in his Aston Martin. He was driving an Aston Martin. He wasn't even old enough. It's crazy. Absolutely.
You can see Denny talking about how we talked about this yesterday. Yesterday, the meme coin meta was Nokia phones. People kept doing Nokia phones and Nokia telephone numbers, and they kept making it through bonding on Pump.Fun and getting listed. I think we even bought and made a little money on one of them. But we were talking about cell phones, and how Nokia was my first cell phone. We used to play the little snake game. That was the first one I got.
Oh, hell yeah. I never really embraced technology back then. I was always like, fuck it, I'll play sports. You know what I'm saying? Like, just do regular ass shit. And then my car broke down. It was like 107 degrees on an August day, and I walked home. And not only did I have to walk home, but my girlfriend at the time was giving me shit, so I broke up with her ass. And I went right to my grandmother. I'm like, hey, can you give me a cell phone? Because, back then you had you couldn't just walk in like grab phones like Metro PCS or anything like that. Right. I was like 15 at the time, 16. So 16 because I just got my permit. So I was like fucking driving around. I was like, fuck this, man. I'm never gonna have to walk home in 107 degree fucking weather again. No shot. No shot.
By the way, Big A is gonna be 49 next week. I feel like we have to do a Big A birthday party. What day is that, Big A? Maybe I'm gonna have to do a special stream, or we could do a special stream because I think Big A deserves a big birthday party, certainly since he's older than me. I got to celebrate that. I mean, of course we have to celebrate that. Let us know. He misses Ronnie. Ronnie's right here, but he's hiding. He's hiding behind Thomas. Let's see. Let's start calling people names. All the hit construction. We have some construction workers or people who do labor like that in here. I did the trip thing. Ansem Hicks, a thing on the yellow Nextel with a case. Those things were indestructible. Yeah, they were. They actually were. That's why those phones were good. You could for me, it was great. I could throw it against the wall if I missed an NFT. Too bad they didn't have NFTs back then. No, I had the medium brick phone. My dad had the flip. Okay, I just had crazy overprotective parents. They were really wealthy and spoiled me too much. Yeah, I got a taxi card. My parents are like, if you're going to drink, you can't drive. So here's a card. It's already paid for. If you need a taxi, just don't drive. So they gave me a little card. I could call the number. And if I was drunk, then, and this is at like fucking 16, they're giving me this. But nice. I didn't. But
cool parents.
Yeah.
I would never drink and drive, but apparently tripping out was absolutely fine in my book.
Okay, right?
I just feel like I had control. But I mean, I've been drunk as shit, obviously, and I'm like, there's no way I would even think about getting behind the wheel. Like, just alcohol is so much different, man. You think you think you're so good, but you're like so far behind. I feel like when I'm tripping on acid, like I feel like I'm ahead of the game, but I'm actually ahead of the game because I'm like fucking sped out of my mind. It's I don't know, it's just a mindset. But probably not good either way. Again, don't trip and drive.
Don't drink and drive. No
don't
drugs
smoke and drive. Don't do any of that crap.
Yeah, none of that stuff. Looks like news from marijuana. He loves Hicks, by the way, all up there. And now I'm disappointed that Big A is turning next year 49. So fuck you. He's still older than me. He can't change that.
Speaking of all these old men in the chat, 40. I'm 44. BE's like 47. I want to say 48, and then we got Big A's 49. So how excited are y'all about the OMG LOL dolls dropping?
Nah, so I don't get it. I mean, again, I love the fact that Vivi's trying new things. I think that's great, but it's not like Cryptoys that has things set up for kids, which is why they have the two marketplaces. So I would love to think that Vivi is setting up a marketplace for kids, but they've never talked about it, so I doubt that's happening. It doesn't make much, like Blackpink made sense to me, although it didn't work out. That made sense. This, I'm a little confused, and the crafting, I was talking to Vault about this. Vault, maybe you should tell Mo the crafting, because it is crazy, the crafting process. I mean,
I can try. It's freaking complicated. Maybe you can help me with it. Here, I got it pulled up on the screen. So we
let me pull it up. And again, I still love Vivi, but this one's a little. I must say, this is interesting.
This is the Sunday drop. It's the LOL Surprise Girls. Now I have a niece that's like one, maybe 2 years younger than my son. So I get her stuff on Christmas, and I've gotten her LOL dolls many times. So it is a big IP. They're all 18 gems, and it's going to be blind box. So look at the common there with 3,300 editions. You got the uncommon with 2,000. We got the rare with 1,100, and a secret rare that's only 200 editions. And then you got this one that you can craft. So what it says down here is that in order for you to craft, you have to have 3 commons and 1 uncommon, and you can only buy them from the store, not the market. So at 18 gems each, you'll have to keep going for blind boxes over and over until you have 3 commons and 1 uncommon in order to craft this Neon-licious. So, I mean, what do y'all think about that?
I mean, just remember, though, these are for 13 to 18-year-olds. These are not like the kid. These are the older, more sophisticated one. Yeah, the idea that you have to buy these in the store, because I was chatting with Dane K in OG Vault's, Discord, which is a great place to go. Because he's like, I'm going to go and get the commons when they get to 10. I'm like, you can't do that. You literally going to have to buy the blind box. I'm the only one lucky enough to get 3 commons and an uncommon. Everyone else will get like an uncommon, then 3 secret rares. The secret rares is an okay chase, and you have to spend 5,000 MCP points. Again, I love it when Vivi's looking for new verticals. This is not a new vertical. This is just a collectible they're dropping. But I like them looking for new fans. What are they going to do to bring them in? Like, maybe there's something we don't know. Maybe they're going to market. But the clock's ticking because we're Tuesday, right? Like, they've got a few days to market this. So I think it's an interesting craft. I think, unfortunately, it's probably not going to do well. Jay thinks it's a cash grab. Everything's a cash grab. Hey, I remember Jay. Hey, Vault, you remember this guy, Jay? I think it's actually Tucson, but maybe not. You remember him? He had the different hair. He kept on changing his pictures. This was like months ago.
Is that the same guy? No, J Bro's been coming to my streams. Tucson's mad at me. He won't come to my streams anymore. He blocked me on Twitter because I yelled at him for telling you. I didn't yell at him, but I mentioned it while I was streaming about him saying that Shelby Cobra is going to divorce you. I'm like, bro, you're going too far. And I don't love the idea of using 5,000 MCP. I like the idea of it, but the fact that the MCP points don't work, I've proven it many times. I only have a few NFTs, so I can easily calculate how many MCP points I'm supposed to be getting each day, and I get about half. So if the MCP is not calculating right, then it doesn't make sense for you to require for me to spend my MCP that I ain't even getting in order to craft.
It's weird. I feel, and for not sure, I think it would have to be like VV Kids. Like VV Vibes, right? This is just another collectible sideways movement. Look, again, trying to bring in new people. This crafting, though, VV Kids. But think about it.
Leave our children alone.
Right, but I mean, I must say that I'm impressed with what And thanks for the comment. Not sure. I'm impressed with what Cryptoys, because I know we wanted to kind of go over that real quickly too. I'm impressed with what Cryptoys has done because they've navigated the whole Google, Apple bullshit that, with the selling stuff. They've made it so the app itself is still kid friendly, but if you want to trade off app, you could do it. Now I know there's things in terms of service that makes your ownership maybe a little different than people wanted. But they've figured it out, which I think is genius, absolutely genius. I don't know. What do you think, Mo, about how like Cryptoys is doing things? Wait, don't do this. You're going to get doxxed. You're going to get doxxed. It's going to show your email.
It. Oh,
don't
God.
do it.
Oh,
okay.
God.
All right. It's happened to me before. All right, go for it. Unless you do the Google, maybe that will work. I don't know. But what do you think, the Googs? What do you think, Mo, about the whole process? That Cryptoys has come up with, other than maybe a little complicated. I mean, they've certainly figured out a way to get around some of the issues I think people were running into.
Well, I think it's great. No, I think the overall idea is great. And I think once I figured it out, I was like, oh, this is cool. Because at first I stumbled, upon the Rarible site, and it was like, oh, great, they're listed under like Cryptoys Collection 721, which is not really differentiating itself from Cryptoys anything else that was like a scam on Rarible. You know what I mean? So that was a little discerning for me at first, but once they got the digital toy exchange website up and running, right. Yeah, I mean it's clean. But like my point is, and I saw it, chatted about, like there's no link or anything to it from the Cryptoys site. So unless you are in the know, you know what I mean? Like they don't promote a link here to be like, hey, if you want to get involved in real money transfers, like this is where you click. Like you either know or you don't know. So
right.
I get it. Trust me, I get it. But I hope that we can kind of get around that at some point because I don't know. I mean, again, I'm not really in a rush to, sell off my collection or anything. I mean, I will put up some things I think I already have, but that Skeletor I got from Will, that thing will never leave my collection. Exactly. Like that's near and dear to my heart. No matter what happens with anybody, it's like that. I love that fucking thing. But as far as like the marketplace, man, I don't know. It's a good idea. I feel like maybe they should have launched both at the same time. The Toykin one.
They were trying to. I think there was an issue.
I know.
Yeah. Okay, gotcha. Like they should have delayed it for both, maybe.
But then I can see how that would just create an uproar again with soons and let you know or whatever. We'll circle back to that. But I mean, the process itself, like Vault's looking at here, I think it's Vault, right? It's. Yep. Click on it, go to your wallet, link it, send it out. It teleports out. It instantly shows up on the exchange. And
I don't know about you. Go for it. Mine's been stuck for 3 days now.
Okay, so that happened to me. And what I realized is that the collectible was actually still in my backpack. And it was a different mint number that was showing me here. It was one of my grails. And I don't know why it got stuck or whatever, but I went back into my collection, found it, clicked it back out, and yeah, I don't know. But I had that happen to me too. And that was right when the website went down. Like they opened it, and then I guess they realized they were having issues, and that's when I tried to transfer stuff out. And like 2 went out, and 1.
The transporting, I only did 1, and it was like the highest mint thing because I'm like, I'm going to lose this. So I did it. But this is interesting. I knew Big A did this earlier. He sold one of his Ultra Grails for $750. Congrats for him. I mean, he's put a lot of money in, but if he's doing sales like that, he's going to get it back for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Those are big sales. And I was telling him, I thought that Ultra Girls would sell between 200 and 500, and it's already way above my expectations. So, I mean, that's a good sign.
Yeah. Yeah, and this might actually be true with the way the marketplace works. It is a lot. It is gonna make it harder for people to just dump. It'll keep prices a little hard, but eventually they're gonna work it out. Like I do think it would be nice if you could do it all from the website, but they're never. Let's see, if they want to have like apps and stuff, it's gonna be harder to do that because Apple and Google will never allow that because that will be considered. I don't know. It's not gambling, but. It makes it more of a money app instead of like a kids friendly app. So I think they've gone about it the right way. I just hope it would maybe can make it a little easier.
I agree. But I mean, like I said, as long as you can, if you have a central hub that's easy enough to access, and it's like, okay, link your MetaMask one time, kind of like you do here, or maybe every now and then you got to click on it to connect again. It just automatically goes. But yeah, you sign the contract one time. which is scary. It's like, do you want to allow full access to all of your cryptoids? And I'm like,
I did the same
man.
thing. I'm like, I don't know if I want to do this. I'm like, rare.
I really hope this is the right site.
Right.
Just keep, especially early on. You know what I'm saying? When like, I don't know why I was really in such a rush. I was like, because I have a couple, low like 34 or whatever, like 18 or some shit like that on like Grails. I'll just try to flip out of those because I don't really care about the mint numbers, and I know people do. Right. I care more about the gamification, if and when that comes. So I have so many Grails that me and you played, Grail games and shit, on stream, where it was like,
I had to open them.
Yeah, one of us poor suckers has to, open up the Grail, right? So. This website here with Rarible.
Rarible's now. Isn't Rarible, if I'm correct, that's the one where they actually have shares of items too, right? Isn't it the one? Is that the one that's owned by Pawn Star?
No, that's Rally. That's
Rally. Oh, okay. All right. Rarible.
No, Rarible is an NFT platform, like kind of like OpenSea or.
Okay, so I think it was I think it was a smart thing. Jay thinks Vivi might be the MySpace, but Cryptoids will be the Facebook. I mean, look, I still think Vivi, they've got the IPs. I'm an ambassador. Mo's an ambassador. It'd be nice if Vault was an ambassador there. But they do a great job. I'm excited. Obviously, everyone on Vivi is talking about Cryptoids. I still think Vivi is going to do very well, but I think Cryptoids is also going to do really well. But right now, Vivi is the one bringing in the money. They're bringing the most money out of any of these projects.
It's kind of funny, right? Because we always talk about like verticals and things like that with Vivi. But isn't it fucked up that the Vivi vertical is actually other projects? Because, you start with, let's say, 10,000, Vivi users. And then, HRO comes out and you get like a huge, population that goes there. And then a lot of them make a lot of money that made mistakes on, Vivi, people like me. But then you got the people that came in late, the same way they came in late on Vivi, and they lost money again. And then you take, Palm or Candy, whatever it is now. And like, it's just a whole nother like vertical slice of the Vivi population, which again is first and foremost, less money potentially for Vivi, to go into Vivi. If they're like, oh, well, I got to wait for my candy drop this week, and I got to wait for, the new HRO packs this week, right? Like, it's just less money I'll give to Vivi. Plus, Vivi doesn't help themselves either, because someone like me, I don't buy on any other platform. But if Vivi came out with something worth it, I'd come back and buy on Vivi, sure. I don't have like a hatred or anything against Vivi, but nothing wets my whistle.
Exactly. And that is the thing. I think some of the, what we'd call moon boys would be like, you got to buy every drop. Like, you got to, like, you're not a real, no, you don't. Exactly.
David, you told me collect what I love.
Exactly. And then buy 3 of them, right? Like Vault was saying last
That's
week.
right.
One to sell, one to,
Well, you have to now if you want to get the OMG LOL,
Right. I mean, that's, well, you can't even do, you got to buy that in the store. So I don't even know how that's going to happen. I'm not sure. Yes, the Vivi no ownership. I just wish they changed the wording in the terms of service that would give us kind of some ownership, or at least like Apple gives us for their music. I don't like the way it's written in the terms of service. Maybe that can change. I could almost guarantee the way they sign their contracts. I know that obviously it's true now that Disney will go for allowing some type of ownership. But when they signed back in 2018, I can guarantee you there's no way they were going to do it. Disney's in a much different place these days. So I don't know. What do you guys think about that? Do you think that's bullshit, or do you think that they signed a deal and now that they're evolving, Disney's evolving?
I think you just have to say that because you're a secret Vivi ambassador, but in reality,
definitely not. Where's my money?
If Cryptos can do it with Disney, then Vivi can do it with Disney. I mean, maybe they have some type of contract, but I'm sure they could renegotiate.
They could change it. I would buy that for a dollar.
Well, especially for new IPs and stuff. But yes, I mean,
right.
It would make me, the way I see it, I think I've talked about this maybe even a year ago plus. I felt like David, you, and I feel like the Vivi team would try to gatekeep almost to Disney and be like, hey, listen, you don't want to go out in the wild west, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm sure you guys have people that don't know anything about crypto or NFTs or whatever, and they come to you and you're like their fucking Bible, you know what I mean? Like whatever you tell them, like they're going to take your word as bond and follow you. So if you have someone like David Yu who owns Vivi telling Disney and they're listening like, hey, it's dangerous out there, like let's just keep it in a walled garden and have this, you know what I mean? Like to me personally, that's how I've kind of always seen it. I feel like they've just kind of like, when you have something really good, you don't want to let the rest of the world enjoy it. You know, they just trying to like keep it locked down. So for me, I don't think it's in the contract. Or if it is, it can be changed.
It could be changed. I would bet a lot that it is, but I agree that it could be changed. I like the centralized system. I think it's safer. I think most people are going to get screwed. I think even on Cryptoys, I'm sure we'll hear about people, but like you said, Mo, we're all adults. If you make that decision to take it off, you better do it right. But that is why the masses are, masses are going to have a hard time adopting this craziness of connecting two wallets that say you're signing your life away, all of that. So, in the end, it'd be nice if Token could be converted over to something other than just cubes. That would solve it, but I don't know how that happens.
Shout out to Bruin88 being a member of my channel for 30 months. Let's go. If I could play one of my Let's Go gifts right now, I would.
Oh, but you know what? Wait a second. I've got something for him. I've got something special.
No face.
That bubbles is from me.
Yeah, that is. But you want to give him something nice. I think I should be around the same too. But
yeah,
you know me. I have like 15 fucking YouTube accounts. So.
For what it's worth, I voted to give you nothing. You also DM'd me. I ignored it. My apologies.
Nice.
But yes,
we like
that's where we stand.
He's in the chat too. And regards to what Big A was saying about VV just being static objects on other platforms, you can see it's the same thing with Cryptoys. If you look it up on Rareables, it's just a static 2D picture. You'd have to buy it, put it in your wallet, and then bring it back into the Cryptoys ecosystem in order for, when they have a gamification to use it. And it's going to be the same way with VV. So I don't see a lot of difference between Cryptoys and VV when it comes to that.
Well, what's weird is that's actually for whatever reason, I don't know why they felt like it had to change, but I know Arcade was affected by it as well. Not being able to mint 3D objects anymore. Like, remember Vault? Like, we did your logos. I did me and BE's logos, my logos. You can't even upload OBJ files or any FBX files to these platforms anymore for whatever reason. Maybe it's bandwidth issues. Maybe it's, rendering issues for PC. I don't know. But, yeah, it's fucking crazy, man. So, yeah, that's why you're getting static images pretty much with everything nowadays. It's
because that's how they have to do it, and then you got to move it in. I personally believe VV, can come back. It's going to be a while. Are they listening? I already know that the mint counts are being lowered. Today's comic, 6,000, still too much. But there's a lot of things why that's too much. A lot of the VV comic viewer. But let's see. We're going to see how it evolves over the next couple months if they're listening to us. But yeah, I think they can. I don't think Vault or Mo thinks they can. So
well, no, just remember. And listen, I've said it since day one. People said video games were dead in 1973. Okay, Magnavox came out, had a little fucking fun in the sun. It was a flash in the pan. And then up until 1977, 1978, when the Atari really started to go forward, people were still saying video games were dead on arrival. So don't buy into this whole blockchain's dead, BB's dead. None of this shit is dead. Okay, they're just they tried to make some waves. They had to learn some lessons. Just like anybody else in life. But hey. That's why I like when I see who is it, Gavin from HRO. I like when he's having discussions with David Yu, because when you see things like that, it's a company that I feel like runs their company in a really good fashion, both on like a professional level, like social media wise, and they've had some issues with like team members minting, and they've taken care of it. But I feel like if you just lead by example, and it spreads to platforms like VV, I think Cryptoys is already off to a really good start. Again, I need gamification. Like, you will see me absolutely pole vault off the ground 3.5 inches once I'm not excited from gamification on Cryptoys. But, collecting collectibles, mint numbers, never really been my thing. But listen, it's progress. Being able to go on and look at the mints and buy them and sell them now and transport them in and out for a functional project or functional platform.
Right.
Yeah, it's good, man. Future's bright.
Where's my future for Nike? Swoosh.Nike. What the heck happened to that? We were all so excited about it.
It was
and
just
now
a trick
I've got
to make you buy sweaters and tennis shoes.
Oh my God. I told you I learned all that stuff. But why are my shoes? We got the 5 shoes, right? What's going on with that? Like, literally over a year later, and there's been nothing. Honestly, that makes me more upset than anything, because they really do have like unlimited money. They could have done a better job.
It's not on them, though. They can't do anything unless they plan on creating the Nike Land fucking metaverse and build the game and build the platform and build the functionality for gamification. They have to rely on Web3 gaming to catch up. Right. You know what I mean? So we're now just going to get mainstream adoption for the blockchain. That will lead to third-party, well, not even third-party, but, major video game publishers like Square Enix. They do Final Fantasy in those games. They're actually now on board. They just actually minted out a pretty successful NFT project. So again, this mass adoption is going to now pave the way, and I think Vault mentioned it last week, where it takes a development cycle for a video game is 3 to 5 years. You know what I mean? For a good one. You know what I mean? I can make shit like Illuvium and put that thing out next week, but if you want to build a quality game, it's 3 to 5 years. So in that amount of time, we now have to get mainstream adoption, then we have to get the main companies to sign on. And I still think we're like 3 to 5 years away from that, because you're going to have games like Drop Zone, whatever it is, Dead Zone with Dr. Disrespect's game. You're going to have games like Champions Ascension. You're going to have the Pokemon game. These are all unknown publishers, right? So they're going to pave the way. They're going to make the mistakes, just like Vivi did, for other platforms to come in later on. But the other platforms are Sony and Microsoft.
Right. Exactly.
And they're already invested in AI. They're already invested in blockchain technology. They already have games in the pipeline coming out using Web3 technology. So this isn't like going to be a surprise 2-3 years from now. But like Vault said, there is a process, and you have to trust the process. Who's that? Joel Embiid? You got to trust the process, right? When it comes to gaming, if you know anything about gaming, like good games are not going to show up this month on blockchain gaming. It's just not going to happen. So that's just.
You think AVAX is? I know Alex's AVAX is where the games are. I know Big A loves AVAX for the gaming.
Sure, from a platform perspective, but we're talking publishers, you know what I mean, and stuff like that, because they're the ones that are putting it in front of the gamers, right?
Right.
And I'll show you right now. Maybe I'll just.
You want me to show? I was to say
get on my high horse for a minute. You know, but no, seriously, like, listen, if you know anything about gaming, like I said, and Vault made a very good point of it last week. Like, there is a very, very long cycle, and it's tedious. It requires a lot of betas and testing, and I feel like in the crypto world, people get so like sour on projects after like a week. That video games, if that happens and the tokens plummet, and the games can't continue to make revenue, then the games fail. And there are probably some good games that failed because of that. Probably bad tokenomics, you know.
Well, for sure.
You can take me off my high horse now.
I had to see it closer because I'm blind. I love it. I love it. Hey, Richard, good to see you, man. Everyone who's come by the way, thank you. If I didn't call you out, or Vault didn't call you, or Mo didn't, we see you all here. That Square Enix project you were talking about being built on AVAX.
Yeah.
Is that this? Okay, right. And then if you could link VV account to Fortnite, then holding Todd could act as a key to play as Todd. So yeah, that is a possibility. I think what Big A was saying is like with Cryptoids, it's actually built into the character to actually be able to do it. But yes, even Mo had talked about keys and everything a year ago. So that is possible that they could make a deal where that could act as a key. So you wouldn't be that particular item that you have in your collection, but it would open it up in the game, which would be cool too, I guess.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Going back, referencing the time travel discussion, travel back in time 5 years and say to somebody, 5 years from now, you're going to log into your Yahoo account with your Google account. They'd be like,
right, isn't that funny?
No fucking shot, because they were trying to get everybody onto Yahoo using Yahoo Mail. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to train these people to log into the Yahoo the portal and get used to these things, right? But they were never able to do that. Like, Google was the powerhouse, so if you can't beat them, you fucking join them. And that's exactly what all these companies are doing. So log into Google. Everybody's got a Google account. Mm-hmm. Link your MetaMask, link your Phantom, link everything, right? And then when the game comes along, just sign in with Google. You already trust Google with your life anyway. So there you go. Sign in, and hey, rightfully so. I don't know if you guys ever tried to be hacked, but I mean, I've had people try to get into my accounts, and people have actually gotten into like other weird ass accounts of mine, like weird platforms, and like they've tried to get into my Gmail, but you can't. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because it tells you to like confirm on your phone real time.
You have to confirm the number on your phone.
Yeah, they do such a good job of making me feel safe. It's like that warm, snuggly blanket that I think people are looking for at Vivi, but yet they want to rip Vivi a new asshole for creating that warm, snuggly blanket. Like it's such a double-edged sword, man. And I don't envy David Yu and company for doing it, but man, it's just the keys. And it kind of goes to what Nike too. Nike, I think everybody sees NFTs as a key, like a membership pass, right? Like join our fitness gym, right? And get a membership pass. Like, how can we do that in the NFT world? Well, let's release some shoes. And if you own one of these fucking shoes, you can go for that sweatshirt. You can go for the pants. You can go for this. We don't like that. I don't really like it as a membership pass, but other people sure as hell do. I think somebody actually minted a golf course. They took a real life golf course and minted it out, I think, into like NFTs. and all the revenue generated from the real life golf course is all like revenue shared out on the blockchain. Wow. Yeah. Because again, it's just you fractionalize it by hole, like 18 holes, 18 NFTs, or, you know, you put a DAO together, us three can own a hole, you know?
I think, Jay, bro, I would disagree with that. I think Fortnite is open to NFTs. I mean, Epic Games.
Oh, 100% they're going in. No, it's
they already did Nike. I'm sure you were going to say
they did Nike, collaborations as well. And I hope they do, because my kids got all those first skins, and those skins that you could only get like in season 1 or season 2, if those become NFTs. And I think that'll be what they eventually become. Then maybe we can take them off the Fortnite platform and sell them on eBay, and then we'll be billionaires.
That you would be, because those are super rare.
Yeah, that would be great, because I have all the Skull Trooper and all that stuff, but I'm a Fortnite partner. I have a code and shit to make revenue, so I can't actually sell my account. But my boy sold his Fortnite account. We had the same account pretty much. He sold his shit for $15,000 at the peak, bro.
What? Oh,
15, but he had to sell his whole account. Like he had to sell. He had to sell the email address. He had to change the pass. You know what I'm saying? And basically, it was some backdoor shit. But there was a website that was designed to like broker the deals for people. But like 15 G's, man. Could you imagine? Like, but I don't think existing skins would actually go on the blockchain. I think skins going forward. You know what I mean? But hey, maybe
hard to go back.
Bro, what if they had like a sick Fortnite tournament where it's like, yo, win, because you know, like you get like a crown or whatever when you win the Fortnite round, right? In the battle royale. If you win, maybe you get like a secret potion that allows you, if you collect enough of them or whatever, to actually mint out. So you don't just have to own it. You have to be good and like kind of put in a little bit of work to kind of mint it out onto the chain. Like that would be kind of interesting.
That would be.
I was thinking in the same way that Quid does it, where you don't have to put it on the blockchain, but you can put it on the blockchain.
Yes, exactly. Yep. And that's a fine way to live. And that's kind of like, isn't that what Cryptoids is doing? Like, hey, keep it on our platform, play games, make tokens, whatever. Right. Or no, you want to transfer it out. Like I think it's a brilliant idea. You know, I just think it needs more exposure.
Exactly.
That's it.
I was just gonna say on this, because not sure. What I feel like is the reason why all these things are going to become NFTs is because our kids are buying all the skins that have no value. They have no ability to move them around, and eventually those kids are going to see NFTs and are going to know that there's other games that do have that. And when Fortnite doesn't adapt, they'll just go to the new games and be like, well, shit, I can get that gun or that knife or whatever, that car. There's only 100 of them. And if I get it, it's worth this and I can sell it. But on Fortnite, I'm spending $20 for a skin and I can't do anything with it. That's my opinion, though.
Well, devil's advocate, though. Sorry, boss. Devil's advocate would be like people, especially kids now, have been doing it for so long. Even people our age have been doing microtransactions for over a decade. What if people are so just fucking brainwashed and predetermined to not give a shit that actually NFTs don't gain traction because they're like, you know what? I'm used to just kind of like taking an extra $250 and giving it to Madden for cards or NBA 2K and buying player packs. I mean, I didn't mean to cut you off, Vault, but I'm saying like devil's advocate because maybe these kids are already brainwashed and not give a fuck about that money. But go Vault.
That's true.
No, you're probably right. I mean, I think Fortnite's not going to be around forever. And when Not Sure says that they're not collectibles, I think these are exactly what collectibles are, because if you look at every other collectible, baseball cards, comic books, coins, stamps, these are all things that weren't collectibles in the beginning, but they brought back nostalgic feelings. And that's exactly what Fortnite skins will do, especially if Fortnite ceases to exist. You'll be able to bring those skins with you, and then they give you the feeling of when you were a kid and you played Fortnite. We're talking 20 years from now. These are the type of things that people would want to collect.
Absolutely.
And pay good money.
And pay good money like we are for OMG LOL. I mean, we would in 20 years.
Well, you might be, but I just want to touch on something real quick, because whoever said that Fortnite would never allow NFT and stuff like that, I mean, just so we're fully clear on this, Epic Games was the only platform that was fully open to Web3 and NFT gaming, even allowed in their store from the jump. They were the only ones. Steam actually banned and removed any game that had NFTs and Web3 integration early on. They've since backtracked a little bit on that, depending on how in your face it is. But let's just not get it twisted. Like, Epic Games is the one that's trying to push into the next foray of gaming. So that being said, they're the only ones that are held responsible for Fortnite. It's not a third-party company that works in tandem with Epic Games. Like, it's made by Epic Games because of their Unreal Engine, technology. Like, they needed a tester, because I know this because I tested the first ever Fortnite when it was nothing but a zombie tower defense. And the reason why they pulled me in is because I did a lot of Unreal Engine 3D design. And they were like, hey, dude, you're pretty good with this. You want to test out our shooter? And I'm like, okay. Yeah, this is kind of cool. We brought some people in. Then the day that they released Battle Royale, and we jumped into that, and we won our first BR. I think I even have a fucking recording of it somewhere. Dude, like, there was nothing like that in gaming. I'm sorry, man. Like, the Battle Royale, the feeling of kicking the crap out of 99 other fucking shitty players and standing there at the end. And in Fortnite, you got to bust out the L dance. I had the popcorn eating one. I had the guitar shredding. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no other feeling really like that. Unless you're, one of these new fucking Zoomers who... Like, I'm hyper competitive, and I think a lot of people from our generation are. Where it's like, I'm not going to let you win. I want to win. I'm not going to gloat. I'm not going to be a sore winner, but I want to fucking win. Like, I'm not going to let you off easy. You know what I mean? So I think it's kind of cool from that aspect. But what if those things were going to make you money?
Exactly. Well, that's exactly right. And Big A saying here that they're going to go kicking and screaming. They absolutely will. And by the way, I only have a few more minutes here, but I just look at nobody's going to even really. Maybe you guys don't. You're too young, but there was a time that you couldn't even rent movies. It was a whole big thing. Video stores came up. VHS. They wanted to rent movies. Movie studios did not want it to happen. That's when you have to pay $100, $200 for one VHS tape to be able to watch it. Then stores started renting. They took them to court, and guess what? They were able to. In the end, they won, right? Then we had Blockbuster and all that. So I think people will adapt. People will know what's going on the outside, and if they don't adapt, they're going to go out of business, in my opinion.
Adapt or die.
He's right. But he is right. Yeah. They will try to not do it.
I don't know why it hurts the bottom line, though. They can charge transaction fees every time that skin gets traded on OpenSea or whatever marketplace. They get a 5% cut or something. I think that helps their bottom line.
Didn't they stop the Vault? I thought they stopped the guaranteed smart contracts. I think they're like
optional.
It's optional. So like, if maybe Rareable's different though. Maybe on Rareable they can force it.
Yeah. I mean, it should be forced. I mean, listen, if you're gonna if you want to have this freedom of ownership and stuff like that, like,
I agree.
You pay the cost to be the boss, bro. Like, you got to be able to fucking, again, it shouldn't be outrageous. I mean, I don't want an Ethereum transfer where it's like, hey, let me spend $100 on Ethereum NFT, but it cost me $174 fucking dollars. Like, that sucks.
Right.
And I know we've come a long way since. Yeah. I know we've come a long way since those days, but I'm saying, like, if it's 7.5%, 8%, I'm even thinking like, 10%, comes out of the seller's, share, but the platform gets to make that money. I mean, I feel like that drives incentive to, create these things, and also entices people to come back. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
like,
sure. And to keep creating on both sides. Whoops.
It's still cheaper than VV.
There you go. That's why I said the 18.5%. But again, that will, sorry, I just dropped something the dogs could get. But that 18.5% is a lot of it's due to the Google and the Apple, a large portion of that. But all right. I'm going to let you guys kind of close up, but I've got about 3 minutes or I'm going to get a divorce, which would make Tucson happy. But Vault, you want to tell what's going on this week with you, your meme coin, your streams this weekend? What's going on? What's going to happen here?
Yeah, we got meme coin streams on every weekday at noon Eastern Standard Time. We do a little bit of meme coin sniping. We've been creating our own meme coins on Pump.fun and rugging them a little bit here and there, trying to make some extra money. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I got a video coming out to describe Meme AI, what it is and how to buy it. And then on Sunday, of course, I'll be live for everybody's favorite OMG LOL dolls.
Nice. That's going to be on Sunday. Mo, what do you have going on? I know you just had your Derby stuff. You're going to rest a little bit?
Yeah, Derby. We just had Fool's Day yesterday. I mean, actually, like some of these fucking full prices are actually going up. That's a whole different discussion. But yeah, we're basically just kind of riding it out, man. Just trying to get back into the swing of things. I've been out of it for a couple months. Obviously, like I said, IRL shit, just waiting for, dust to settle. But expect maybe some more shows coming back. I don't know. I keep saying the Mo shows coming back every day in the afternoon, yada, yada, yada. But honestly, then I wake up, I make a cup of coffee, I smoke a bowl, and I spin slots all day, and I watch horses. Like, I don't
money.
really
Why
feel...
would you waste your time?
Yeah, well, I mean, breeding, like I said, because of the prices coming down at like the A+ level, if you don't have an S- or up filly, I mean, good luck. But outside of that, man, like, I don't know, I can't go live and just speculate and talk about a lot of nothing. I'd rather just sit here, watch my dick get smaller, and spin slots. You know what I mean? So that's pretty much me in a nutshell these days, man. But expect some streams back. Like I said, maybe some Muzz stuff, some music. I got a new album I'm trying to finish up too, so that would be kind of cool. But that's about it, man. Follow me on Twitter. Just
as I say,
to do.
in the description for Mo and for Vault and myself, you got all the information in there to follow on whether it's Twitch, YouTube, or Twitter. Check everyone out there. I'll be doing a stream for Vivi on Thursday. Like Vault said, he'll be doing the OMG, LOL, whatever it's called. He'll be doing that. Drop, he'll be doing the meme coin stuff. Check out the Mammoth AI. I actually did buy a little, not financial advice, but I actually bought it twice, so I might even buy a little bit more. But I'm very careful. But anyways, really appreciate everyone coming here, hanging out. I'm just trying to end this on time so the wife doesn't kill me in a video game. But yes, we literally word for word that I told BE today about horses. Yes, exactly. He did. But everyone, thank you for coming. Voltimo, thank you for allowing me to do this show with you. It's really awesome. I love it. Tales from the Crypto, everyone. We will be back next week, 5 Eastern. Mo will get it right, and I'll get it wrong next week. But either way, we'll be here. Good to see everyone. Until next week, everyone. Peace.
Thank you, gentlemen. Later, chat.